Hello local Funnel3L members. In this section we're going to actually go through and look at the funnel strategy, how it's laid out, and the steps that you're going to need to go through in order to bring people into your funnel and what the actual outcome you're looking for is at the end. So the first thing is, this is what a local marketing tripwire funnel looks like. Now the reason it's called a tripwire funnel is once we capture the lead from the person coming to our homepage, the next step is to sell them something that's a very low barrier to entry, low cost item that's going to get them to open up their wallet, take out their credit card, and do business with us without having ever met us. So the first thing we're going to do is get them to order something that's very low cost, and then from there we'll take them to an upsell and finally a thank you page. So let's kind of dig in to look at exactly how this works and what we want to do and what we want to accomplish with this. So if we look at it, the real reason that we do everything in this business is we want to develop a monetized relationship with our prospects, right? We want to enter into a relationship where they're paying us for our services, and the easiest way to do that is to become a trusted advisor. A trusted advisor is someone who you look to for recommendations on how you should move forward on certain aspects of your business. Trusted advisors can be attorneys, they can be accountants, they can be financial advisors, and also they can be marketing specialists to help businesses know the best way to get their message in front of prospects. And that's the role that we want to take on as local marketing specialists. So the first step is we need to develop a lead capture system. Now within the local funnel formula, we have developed a perfect lead capture, and the first way to do that is bring them into your website and offer them something in exchange for their email. Now we have several ways of doing that, of bringing people into the funnel, and we have several things that we can provide to them in exchange for their email. Now, most people think of the lead capture as simply being traffic going to a website, but it can be a number of different things. You can have the PDF that you give away on your website. Inside this program, we have a professionally done PDF that you can go in and customize the front of. You can have a local marketing book that you are going to be able to utilize as the ultimate credibility piece to take you from that position of just being someone else that's out there offering local marketing services to be the person that actually wrote the book on the topic. We also have email series. Anybody that you've met in the past, anyone whose email that you have, you can put them into an autoresponder and send them emails that are going to bring them into your website, offering them your free report or your book. We also, speaking engagements are ways to get people to come and visit your site in order to be able to share the information with them. And Facebook ads. You can actually run ads on Facebook, putting the message in front of people who you have identified as being business owners, bringing them to your lead capture page, offering them the free book and also a strategy session, because the ultimate goal is to get the business owner to get them on the phone or to meet them in person to walk through a strategy session with them in order for them to see how your services can help their business. The other way you can do this is we've also provided you with marketing videos that you can utilize. You can put them on YouTube and you can get them ranked on the first page of the search engines. The other thing you can do is use these videos and other information within this program to create blog posts, and those blog posts can be very easily ranked on the first page as well. All of these items together start to create an overwhelming, dominating presence for you in your area as a local marketing specialist and put you head and shoulders above the competition. So we go through, we capture their lead. They've given us their email. Immediately, we take them to a tripwire offer. And the tripwire, like I said, is something that's a low-cost, first-end offer that gets them to say, you know what, let me go ahead and try this. It makes sense. And it's only $7, $17, $27. It would be ridiculous of me not to try this offer. So let's say that you have the ability to offer them a video. Well, everyone does. You can do a very quick video using Animoto. You can do a video about the reputation. You can do a testimonial video. There's a number of different ways that you can offer them a promotional video for their business, and you can offer it to them for $7, $17, $27. The point of the tripwire is not to necessarily make money. It's just to get them to become a client. Once they become a client, it transitions you from being someone who's sharing information to being the trusted advisor, puts you in the position of being an expert, because now they have paid you money. They've just proven that you're an expert because they've given you money to provide a service to them. The other thing you can do, because in this program you have access to a mobile website builder, you could offer them a mobile responsive website for $97. That way you can build the website yourself. It's very easy to do with a mobile responsive site, and it costs you about $5 a month, so you've not only covered your costs, but you've made a little bit of money in the process, and you've filled a need for them, which obviously is coming around the bend very quickly that they're going to have. Once you sell them on the mobile responsive website, you can upsell them to other services. Let's say that you don't want to do either one of those, but you want to take advantage of using the free online presence reports that are available, offer them a free competitive analysis for their business compared to the competition in their area for $7, $17, $27, whatever you feel is going to best convert for you, and then upsell them to other services. So we bring them as a lead, we get their email from them, they take us up on the next step, which is the tripwire. Now, each of these steps happen automatically with the system the way we have it laid out, which you'll learn later on in this section. Once they've bought the tripwire, then we take them immediately to an upsell. This upsell is providing them with a solution for them to get even better results for the item that they just bought as the tripwire. So let's say that you sell them the $7 video. Well, the upsell would be, congratulations, now that you have the video for your business, which every business needs, the next step is for people to be able to see that video. While placing it on YouTube is great, the one thing you want to do is you can actually get that video so that it can be seen when people in your area are actually searching for information about your products and services. And in order to do that, there are specific steps that must be taken, and we can provide you with that service for $197. We can get that video not only created for you, but we can get that video ranked on the first page of the search engines for terms that people are searching for in your local area when they need your product or service. Boom. That's the upsell. $7 video for the tripwire. The upsell is we can take that item that you just bought and make it even more useful for you. You never want the upsell to be anything that takes away from what you've just sold them. You always want the upsell to be something that's going to get them better usage of it. Let's say that you offer them the mobile responsive website. Congratulations, you are now going to have a mobile responsive website, which is the first step in having a competitive edge in your area. The next step is, let's get that mobile responsive website in front of the people that are actively searching for your services. And to do that, we have a special package, and it's search engine optimization, but you place it in front of them without saying SEO, because most people don't know what that is. You have a package that's going to help them get that website placed in front of people that are actively searching for their product or service in their area. You can use the search engine optimization package from the outsource team to help get that mobile responsive site seen by the people that are looking for it. And if it costs you $250 for the outsource service, you double that and you charge them $497. If you sell them the $27 online presence report, the next step would be to sell them on local buzz. So I think you get the point of, you capture the lead, you sell them a low cost item up front, which builds trust with them, then you take them to the upsell, which is going to get them better usage out of the thing they just bought. And all of this is to get them to the ultimate level of bringing them to an in-depth strategy session where you can walk them through all of the items they need and actually help them have their own sales funnel in place for their business. That way, you're able to become a trusted advisor so that you can monetize the relationship. So let's look at these things a little deeper. The first step is the lead capture. Now, inside the program, I provided you with a template that you can utilize inside the mobile responsive website builder, where you simply go in, fill in your information, and connect everything so that when someone comes to your site, whether they come to it from seeing your video, from a blog post, from getting your book, from you doing a speaking engagement, all of the different ways that you can bring traffic into your lead capture page, all of the pieces you need in order to create this lead capture page to get them to give you their name and email address. I've also set it up so that they can push the button to go ahead and schedule a strategy session today. We always want to give them the choice to go straight to speaking with us, and also give them the choice, if they don't feel comfortable going right to that point, to a less committal point of giving us their name and email to get the report that's going to tell them the secrets. Once we have their name and email address and we take them to the tripwire, it's going to immediately, once they enter that, it's going to say congratulations, and it's going to take them to a page that looks like this. It's going to say thank you. The special report has been sent. And you're going to have a video on this page that's going to automatically play. It's called a video sales letter. And inside the training, we go through exactly how to set that video sales letter up, how to get it done, how to record it, and if you don't want to do it yourself, even how to get other people to do it for you, so that they have an add to cart button at the bottom. They can go immediately and buy that from you. We also show you inside the program how to set that up with PayPal so that you can collect money from people that you've never even met before. Once they do this, once they click add to cart, they'll go through the process. They'll go to PayPal, fill out their information. After they click submit, that will then take them immediately to the upsell page. Now, the upsell page is going to immediately appear in front of them, and it's going to look like this, very similar to the tripwire page. It's going to say your order is being processed, now watch this. and then you will have a video that plays selling them on great. You've just bought the tripwire. You have the first step that you need in order to create information that people are going to find automatically. The best thing to do is to give yourself every chance of success, and that is to get that information on the first page of the search engines so that people can actually find the information to take an action to buy your product or service. So that's the upsell. Then you take them to the thank you page, which again looks very similar, but you have a video that thanks them for the order, explains exactly how it's going to be processed and what they can expect, along with sending them an email about all of the information that they've just bought. Now, along the way, if they happen to fall out and not take you up on the next section or the next offer, you'll be able to put an email autoresponder in place to continue to follow up with them. We've given you everything you need inside of the program with the follow-up email sequences in order to keep your information in front of them and to continue to bring them back into your sales funnels so that you can get in a position to provide them with a sales funnel. Right? So again, we want to capture the lead. We want to sell them on a low-cost front-end offer with a tripwire. We want to then take them to the upsell so we can get to the point of being a trusted advisor. Now, the other thing that we've included in here is I've set it up so that, let's say that someone comes in and they immediately get your book, they take you up on a book offer. There's also an email series you can put in place that takes them straight from getting the book right into a strategy session. It's a series of emails that continues to ask them, did you read the book? Have you seen the book? Did you read it? What did you think of it? Let me know. And it's a series of emails always leading them to the strategy session. If for some reason you don't want to put the tripwire and upsell in place, you can immediately start offering the book and take them through an email series to get them to a strategy session. So you have both ways of setting this up and both ways of making your funnel so that it gives you the best chance of getting your information in front of prospects and taking them to the position of you working with them to become a trusted advisor and monetizing your relationship. So there you have it. That's how your online sales funnel will work. As we said before, there's a number of ways of bringing people into the top of the funnel, and the thing that you have to do is continue to progressively work them through the steps to get them to a strategy session so that you can position yourself as a trusted advisor to be able to monetize the relationship. Now, throughout the rest of the program, we're going to go through the individual pieces that you need to set up each stage of the funnel so that you have the best chance for converting your local prospects into customers. Hello, local funnel formula members. In this section, we're going to go through the ultimate business card, how to use your book to get leads. Now, the fact is you are now an author. You have your book. Now, what are you going to do with it? You're not just going to need to leave it sitting around on the shelf. There are actually some strategies that you can put in place that will help you use it to generate business coming to you. And how do you do that? Well, the first of the many ways to use your book for instant credibility is whenever you're networking. You want to always introduce yourself as an author first. A lot of times people are concerned, hi, my name is such and such with so and we do this. Well, whenever you introduce yourself as an author, you immediately get people's attention and you also garner their respect. So if you started off like this, hi, I'm Jody Underhill, author of Local Marketing Domination and the founder of XYZ Marketing, where we create automated lead generation systems for local businesses. That's it. Now you've got their attention. The author of a book? Where is your book? I'd like to get a copy of your book. Always keep several of your books with you in your car so that you can hand them out if people do ask you for them. Or you can say, you know what, that'd be great. Give me your card. I'll be more than happy to send you a copy of it. You can also use it as a giveaway or door prize at networking events. Whether it's a chamber, whether it's a BNI, people are always looking for something to give away. And you can always be Johnny on the spot with your book so that you can offer it, because if people are part of BNI or if they're part of the chamber, they're there because they're looking to grow their business. And what better way to grow their business than to have the 7 must-know strategies for driving traffic to their front door in the form of your book. So networking is a way to always utilize your book. Always have one with you, always have it in your car, always have the ability to provide it to someone if they show an interest. Now, you don't want to walk around and shove it on people, but always keep it handy just in case they do. Now, the other way you can use it is whenever you're doing a speaking engagement. Always, again, introduce yourself as an author first. Hi, I'm Jody Underhill, author of Local Market Domination and the founder of XYZ Marketing. And then you go into the rest of your introduction as yourself. See, being an author, it increases your credibility as a speaker and puts you in an authority position. The other way you can use this is to send your book to different organizations and introduce yourself as someone that would be available to come and speak to their organization. You can send this to Rotary clubs, to Kiwanis clubs. Also, look at the different associations that are in your community. If you're marketing to attorneys, you can send it to the local chapter of the Bar Association. If you're marketing to contractors, you can send it so that you can speak at the Contractor Association's meetings. If you just do a search in your area, it'll show you the different associations, the different trade organizations that are always looking for speakers. And if you're an author, they're more likely to book you than someone who's not. So always, always, always introduce yourself as an author whenever you're doing speaking engagements. The next is give copies of this book to your strategic alliances. Remember, the strategic alliances are people that you want to feel comfortable being able to refer business to you, and you want to feel comfortable being able to refer business to them. And so giving them the copy of your book, it makes it easier for them to now refer business to you. When they tell people about your services, they can actually have them contact you to get a copy of the book, and they can also have them visit your website to get it. And when someone gets a referral to someone who can provide a service, who wrote a book on the topic, what do you think that does? Exactly. It elevates your level of credibility with the person that's going to be contacting you, because after all, you wrote the book on the subject. So always make sure your strategic alliances know that you're an author as well as a business owner and marketing strategist that can help local businesses. That ties it all up into a nice, neat little package. Also, when you're meeting with your strategic alliances, make sure that they know that you're looking for organizations that you can get in front of to speak to. By doing this, it will start to expand the number of people who know that you have the book, and it will expand your reach within the community in those organizations. And the more people that know about your business and know about your book, the greater chances of you not only getting more business, also getting more speaking engagements that will then lead you to having more people that are in your database. The next way is mail your book to your hottest prospects. There are certain business owners that I know that you would like to get in front of. Think about having a top 10 list. If you have a top 10 list of the top 10 types of businesses or business owners or people that you'd like to get in front of, why not go ahead and be the first one to send a book to them explaining why they're on your top 10 list? And there's a number of ways you can do that. It works as a great attention getter as well to get past gatekeepers. But usually gatekeepers are not going to take a book that's addressed to a business owner and throw it in the trash pile. They're going to make sure that it makes it to the business owner's desk. And there's some other tricks you can do to make sure that it gets there, and they may not even see it first. It goes straight to the business owner's desk. And that is to use priority envelopes. You want to include a letter for them to register for a strategy session or go ahead and give you a call. You can get these priority envelopes at 3dmailresults.com, and they have a number of different kinds. I happen to like the one that says Express. They have ones that have eagles in different sizes. They also have sizes that will fit exactly for the book as well. So keep that in mind whenever you're sending this to your prospects, and address it to the business owner. Take a few minutes, look for the business owner's name. If you don't know the business owner's name, which you should because they're your hottest prospect, but in case you don't, you just know the business and you want to get it in front of the right person, you can always find the business owner's name typically by going to the website of the Secretary of State for your state or area. And there you can put in the name of the business, and it typically will pull up the information of their incorporation papers or their company papers, and there it will show you who the registered agent is. And if the registered agent is the person you're looking for, now you have the business owner's name. So that's one of the ways of doing it. What I found was very interesting whenever I actually went to 3D Mail Results pulling this information in for you guys. It was funny whenever I went there, guess what the owner of 3D Mail Results has? He has a book. And guess what you can do? Put in your email to get a copy of the book. That's why whenever you go there, you actually have to X out of here or put in the information to get the book in order to get to the information on the page. I've also included a letter to get them to register for a strategy session or to call you. And this letter is written with some specific copy in mind in order to bring people down the page. And I think whenever you see it, you'll understand why it will draw people to come and have a conversation with you. And in fact, in the letter, it shares with them that in the first 11 minutes, you're going to be explaining exactly why it's a fit for them and how you can help them. The reason we do this is it shrinks down the amount of time that they feel they have to be obligated for the call and increases the chances of them to either pick up the phone and call you or go ahead and register for the strategy session. And just to show that we practice what we preach, here's our mailings for these express envelopes going out to business owners across the country in a specific niche. I think you can probably figure out which one that is. And the other thing you can do with this, other than just drawing them to a strategy session, if you happen to be doing a webinar, then you can invite them to the webinar. And I have two different strategies for doing this. You can send the book to them with the letter and with an invitation, and I printed on this bright yellow paper, the free online seminar that can change their business. with the exact languaging that you can use to do that. And the other way to do it, if you want to make sure to get them to come to your website in order to get the book, you can just send them the letter along with the invitation on the bright yellow paper and give them a coupon across the bottom for them to get a free copy of your book. This way they have to come to the website in order to get it. We've tested it both ways. It works better with the book, but for the difference in the expense of sending the book, it actually isn't that big of a difference. So try it both ways yourself and see which one works better in your local area. I like the next day priority envelopes. Some people have actually started using these little shiny bubble envelopes. You can get those as well. And what this does, instead of it looking like a fake priority envelope, it looks like they're being mailed something special that they've ordered. And it also has a better chance of making it past the gatekeeper straight to the business owner because it looks like something they've personally ordered. Now, it doesn't stop here whenever you mail it to your hottest prospects. What you want to do at this point after you send it to them, if after a week or so they haven't registered for the strategy session or if they haven't called you, now you can call them and you have a reason to be calling. You call up, the gatekeeper answers the phone, and you say, "Hi, this is Jody with XYZ Marketing, and I just wanted to check. I'd sent a book over to business owner's name, and I wanted to make sure that they got it. So do you remember seeing that come across your desk whenever the mail came in?" And then it gets their attention. It's like, oh, they sent a book. And if they did see the book and hadn't given it to the business owner, then it prompts them to make sure they give it to them. And if they did see it, they'll let you know, oh yeah, absolutely. So, okay, well, I just wanted to check because in that I had a limited time offer where I'd invited him to a strategy session, and I wanted to make sure that they got that. If you're doing a webinar, you could say, you know, actually there was an invitation to a webinar, and it's actually going to be happening on Wednesday, and I wanted to make sure that they saw that because we're running out of room really quickly, and I know that they were very interested in making sure that they received this information and got on the webinar. So can I go ahead and get his email so I can go ahead and send that again? If they say they didn't receive it, no, you know what? Actually, let me get your email. I can actually send over a PDF of the book so they can go ahead and have it and then send one back out again after they have the PDF if they want to have a hard copy of the book. Okay, and now remember, we're inviting them to the webinar. When you do that, it builds the anticipation and gets them to register for the webinar, and now they are in your email sequence so that you can continue to send more information to them. Again, these are ways of getting your information in front of people to get their attention. These are things that set you apart from what everyone else is doing, and that's why it's important to have your own book. The next way to use it for instant credibility is to use it as an attention getter for your thank you notes. Now, during this training, I talk about any time that you meet someone at a networking event, any time that you meet someone at a BNI meeting, anytime you meet someone anywhere and you take their business card, you always want to send them a handwritten thank you note. Now, I didn't create this idea. I actually got it from Bob Berg, who's the author of Endless Referrals, and what he suggests is using the handwritten thank you just like I have on the screen here. And if you're an author, you can put the image of the book over on the left with author of the book, your picture on the right, and then your contact information across the bottom. Now on this thank you note, all you're going to do is write, "Michael, it was nice meeting you at the local BNI event. If I can ever refer business your way, I certainly will. Jody." That's it. That's all you want to put on here. You don't want to put, "If I can ever sell you a thingamajiggy or a whoozy-watsy, or if you need this, or keep me in mind anytime you need, or you know anybody that needs some help." None of that. Simply, "It was nice meeting you at the event. If I can ever refer business your way, I certainly will." You put this in a regular business envelope, hand stamped, hand addressed, hand return address. It will get their attention. Will it get their attention so that they call you immediately? Sometimes it will. The other thing is that the next time they see you, they will remember because you're the person that sent them the handwritten thank you note, and it has the image of your book on it and your picture. So they will remember you very vividly. So the next time you see them, they'll say, "Hey, you know what? I got your thank you note. Thank you so much." Think about this. When was the last time you got a handwritten thank you note from anyone? I can probably count on one hand the number of times I've gotten one in the last couple of years, and I'm sure you can too. But here's one thing I'll bet. I'll bet that if you did receive a handwritten thank you, you probably remember exactly who it came from, and so will they. The next is use it to get booked on TV and radio shows as a subject matter expert. See, because being an author increases your credibility as a subject matter expert and puts you in an authority position that TV and radio stations love to call on to add comments on changes to social media, to marketing, on just about anything. So send your book to the local TV station, to the local radio station, and offer your services anytime they need someone to come in and speak on the topic. It will increase their awareness of the fact that not only are you an author, but you're also in their area. I've been interviewed by numerous TV stations and radio shows simply because they see me as a subject matter expert. Now, with you having this book and increasing your credibility, you will now be seen as a subject matter expert because you wrote the book. These are just a few of the ways that you can use the book. I'm sure you'll come up with more and more ways. The thing is that this now gives you the ability to open doors that before may have seemed closed to you. Before, you may have been lacking the confidence to be able to go and speak to people because you didn't feel you had the credibility, because maybe you're new to the business, or maybe you've tried it and don't have a bunch of customers and don't have a bunch of clients to be able to show as referrals. Well, the fact is now being the author of a book, that takes care of all of the part of the credibility. You wrote a book on the subject. Therefore, you don't have to show them a bunch of results. You're the person who actually wrote the book. And this will continue to give you the confidence. And actually, you'll see that you'll start to actually carry yourself a little differently because now you're an author. The last way that you can do this is give it away as a PDF or send visitors to Amazon to buy the book. Because you'll be putting it up through CreateSpace, you're going to be able to have it on Amazon so that they can go and buy the book. So that's it. Those are ways for you to use your book to get instant credibility. Hello, local funnel formula members. In this section of the Ultimate Business Card, we're going to go through setting up your book on CreateSpace. And before we get started, there's a few things you're going to need to have in place so that you don't get stuck as you go through setting your book up. This is what your cover will look like whenever you're inside of CreateSpace. So the things that you're going to need to begin with is you're going to need to decide on the title of the book. You're going to also need to decide on the subtitle. You're going to need a cover image. That'll be 6.25 inches by 3.98 inches. We got this one off of a site called Photolia. I like using Photolia. I go in here and put in the search. Let me put in local marketing. You could probably get more creative than that. I don't want all files. I want photos and illustrations, and hit go. So when the result comes up, you just need to look for ones that are rectangular. Like this lead generation, that will fit nicely on the cover. This local marketing, any of them that have a rectangle, it will actually resize it to fit inside of the book. So you can use any of these. If I go down here to the bottom, here's sort of the one that looks similar to the one that we used. Click on that and it will bring it up and it will show you how much it cost. And you can look at all of the other ones that are here as well. So if I click see more, it will show you all of the ones that are similar to that one. This is the one right here that we actually utilized. So if we click on that and go over here, it will show you the number, and the number of it is 761935551. So there you go. But any of these will work, and you can pick out the thing that fits you best and what you want it to be. You by no means have to go with what we selected. After the cover image, the next thing you'll need is your own photo, and that photo needs to be 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches and 300 DPI, the same as the cover image. DPI means dots per inch. Next is your bio. And you don't have to write a book here, but what you need to do is have like 2 full paragraphs about you, something that you want them to know, and something about your business. And finally, the logo. It needs to be 300 DPI. They all must be JPEG files, .jpg or GIF files in order to go in there. It will not take a PNG or a PDF. So they need to be, I just go with JPEG because it's the easiest to put in there. And it will resize to fit each of these. You don't have to worry about putting these rounded edges. It does that for you. You don't have to worry about putting the barcode in because it adds it in there for you as well. So to start with, the title, the subtitle, the cover image, the author photo, the bio, and the logo. The next thing you're going to need is the actual book to upload, and you'll have that file. And what you need to do, there's some personalizing that you're going to need to do inside of the book, or it's going to look kind of funny whenever you have this thing printed and they send you your sample. And there's only 4 pages where you have to go through and do this. It's page 1, page 2, page 3, and the last page, page 91. Now on page 91, you don't have to go with just that paragraph. You can add anything else you want in there. I will tell you not to change anything else because you'll mess up the numbers on the indexing for the table of contents, and it gets to be a real mess when you start messing with it. If you are going to change anything, I suggest saving a copy in the Word document. So let's go ahead and take a look at the Word document. I've got one other thing that I can show you how you can customize this to fit your area if you want to. Okay, here we are inside of the Word document. It's nothing fancy, it's a regular Word document. However, there is formatting inside of here, so you don't want to move things around too much or it gets really hinky really quickly. But the one area I want to show you that you can customize it, other than the areas where I highlighted them in yellow,
Whenever I went through here, anywhere I used a city, I used the city of Atlanta, Georgia. Now you can leave it as Atlanta, Georgia, or you can change it to your city to give it more of that personalized feel. And the way that you do that is you simply come up here in the search document up in the upper right hand corner and type in Atlanta. And as you can see, it will show you all of the places in here where I used the city Atlanta. If I scroll through, like I said, it's not a lot of places, but this will highlight anywhere where I used Atlanta, Georgia, and you can go through and change that to your city. So as you can see, it's not a ton, but the references to Atlanta end around page 57. Now, one of the things that you'll want to do is to go in here, and when you go in to type this, what happens is that goes away. So whenever you change it, let's say we're going to change this to Boston, then you'll have to go back up and type in and put Atlanta in again and hit enter for it to go find them again. But that's not too hard of a thing to do. But anyway, that's all you have to do whenever it comes to doing the personalization. In the next video, we're going to go ahead and go into CreateSpace, and I'll go show you how to set everything up. Hello, local funnel formula members. Now we're going to actually go into CreateSpace and set your book up and get everything ready to go. So how do we find it? Well, let's just go to Google and put in CreateSpace. And there it pulls it up, and let's just go to the head page. And then what you would need to do to set an account up is you would go to create an account. I already have one, so it's not really hard. You don't even have to put a credit card in to begin with. You just have to set up the account. So I'm going to put mine in. Actually, I'm already logged in. So I'm just going to hit my account, and we go to my member dashboard. And when you come in, you won't have anything. You already have local marketing secrets, but I'm going to start over from scratch. So we're going to click Add New Title. And I'm going to name this, I'm going to call it Local Market Domination. And type project, it's a paperback, and choose Setup Process, Guided or Expert. I'm just going to go ahead, streamline single page experience for those familiar. We're going to go step by step with some help along the way. So click Get Started. It's local market domination, and I'm just going to say the 7 must-have strategies to rule to create a customer getting machine. Now, you can use the title that we had on the other section. You can title it anything that you want to, because this is your book, and all you'll need to do is make the changes inside of the actual Word document if you're going to do those things. And we're going to come in here, primary author. You can put your prefix in there if you want to. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to put Jody and my last name. It's funny, if I put my whole name in there, it would probably fill up the entire first page. Add contributors, authored by. It's not authored with, it's just authored by me. This book is part of a series? No. And edition what? This is 1. And you can click on what's this on any of these, and it'll open up. So the version is particular one. This says if this is the first time you've published a book, enter the number 1, or numeral 1 as they call it. The language is English, and the publication date, again, click on what's this. By leaving it date will automatically assign the publication date for your book. Your publication date is the day we approve the book for publishing. So if you're republishing, you can enter the date the book was originally published. The publication date cannot be changed after you submit it for publishing. So it can go with whatever date is there. So we'll just leave that blank. And we'll click Save and Continue. And that brings us over to the ISBN. The ISBN is the International Standard Book Number. And with this, you can get a custom ISBN if you want it for $10. Since this is not a unique or original book, you can just go with the free CreateSpace ISBN. It'll create it for you. And once it's created, it says it cannot be changed. That's okay. You have to have a CreateSpace ISBN to publish the book on CreateSpace anyway. And we click Assign Free ISBN. And what you want to do here is you want to come back. You want to make sure you copy these numbers here. Let me just go through here and highlight. And if I come back over here to my Word document, remember in the book, here it had the ISBN. You would simply come in here and you would copy, paste, and it would put the ISBN. Of course, you need to reformat it to fit in with your the formatting, And let's just go to a 14. No, it actually had to be smaller than that. Let's go to an 8. And that will put the ISBN number in for you. So there you have it, and we hit backspace there and backspace there. You have your ISBN put into your book. You'll need to make sure and go in and do that once you have that ISBN number. So let's go back over to where we're at in CreateSpace, and we hit continue. And there's always helpful hints. You can read all of those things. Now we're at the interior of the book. You want to go with black and white, paper color white, and choose 6x9. That's what the book is formatted for. Now you want to go down, so you would choose how you would like to submit your interior. Upload a book file or talk with us about professional design services. You click here and you will click browse. And like I said, I've got this actually all on the desktop in stuff for book file, and it'll only allow me to pick one, and that's the local marketing book edited. Click open. It's in there now, and click save. It will then go through the automated print check. Just make sure that everything is going to work fine to see if there's any potential issues using the interior review tool, and they'll let you know as soon as it's done. And we don't have to sit and wait for this. We can go ahead and start working on our book cover while we wait. So this will load it up, and we're going to go with a glossy cover, and we're going to go with build your cover online. And so we go here, it says it's a free online creator tool, launch creator cover, and it will open up all of the choices. And we'll go ahead and scan through. You can pick anything that you want. I would suggest there's one that works very well, works out very well for what we're doing, and that's this one called the Oak. But you can look through all of them. You can pick whatever cover you like. You might like this black. Do whatever you want to with it. I happen to like this one because the title fits very nicely. So I'm going to say OK, and it opens up, and it goes ahead and puts my title in here, local market domination, the 7 must-have strategies to create a customer getting machine, and my name. It's already there. Now you want to change out this logo, but we'll just go through the instructions over here, and you can change the text to whatever you'd like. You can change it to shadow play. Let's see, it'll give you the little spinny thing up here while it changes, and then it will change your print. So you can kind of play around with whatever one that you like best. I'm going to leave it set back to where is it at over here? Roman Splendor is what I'm going to leave it set to. So the next thing is the title. It's already there, local market domination. This is your chance to change that if you'd like. The subtitle is the 7 must-have strategies to create a customer getting machine. I'm okay with that. We go down to authors. It's Jody Underhill. We're good to go. Now the front cover image. And here it says, please upload an image JPEG. And so I'm going to go use one of our images. Now I picked a different one out. Actually, you can pick from their gallery if you want to. I would suggest not doing that, and I would suggest using the picture that you pick out. And so when we go back to image here, we'll go to upload, and I'm going to pick this one. It's got actually a white color to the background. I'm going to see what it looks like. Now it is a Photolia image. You don't want to just download the image because it says Photolia here, but I wanted to see what it looked like with the white on there, with the white at the top. And you can play around with it. I'm just using it in here because I know I'm not going to actually do this. You certainly don't want to have the watermark on any images that you're going to use. So with this one, we're going to leave it as it is. I'm going to click next, and we're going to go to the author image, and I'll go to upload again, and I've got my picture in there. I've got a headshot. Now here it says 1.5 by 1.5 inches. I'm going to test this out and see what happens with a 164 by 149. It's an image I had to create for lead pages a while back. So let's just put this in here and see what happens. And as you see, it looks fine. So you don't have to get real caught up on the size of the image because it will actually resize it for you. Next, we have the back cover text, and here's where you want to put in your information about you and about your business. You can use as much information as you want. And one thing that's interesting about this, if you type more, let me go down to the bottom here, and let's just say put on a bunch of extra stuff in here and hit apply. And what it will do, it will actually shrink the size of the text so it will all fit in there. I'm just going to just leave it, that's fine. And then we go to next, and next is the publisher logo. If you don't have a logo, that's fine. You can always uncheck this box and it will simply make the logo go away. So you don't have to, you won't see it. And it doesn't leave that little box there because when you go to the next size, you see it, next box here, it goes away. But let's say you wanted to, we go to upload, and I had done a screenshot earlier. I'm just going to go back over here. Here's the green elephant logo that I pulled off of Vanessa's website. I'm just going to put it in here and let's see what it looks like. And it will put it down in the lower left hand corner. There you go. Now when I go to background color, you can pick whatever color background you like. Now you don't have to worry about the barcode. They will put that in there for you. So here you go to the color palette, and let's say if we wanted to go with a light pink color to our book. Yeah, that doesn't look too good. How about if we went with a red cover? What would that look like? There you go with red. I don't like the pink around where my image is. So what I like is I actually like this color blue. And let's see what it does whenever it pops up here. Yeah, I like that a little bit better. And as you can see, it kind of fits in with the drawings and stuff here. But you can pick whatever color fits what you like. Primary font color is fine in being black, and the secondary font color is a cream color. I'm okay with that. That's what my name is printed in down here. If you want to, just for kicks and giggles, if you want to see what happens whenever you change the font, it just boom changes it like that. So I'm gonna go back to the cream color, the white color. White's fine. There you go. And we've got all that done. We're going to go ahead and submit our cover, and it'll start working. When it's finished, it comes back to this. So we can look at it. We can full size preview it, and there we go. There is our book cover. So now we're going to come back over here and continue down the path. We're going to head and hit complete cover. Now, whenever you hit complete cover, don't worry about it, because you can always come back and make changes if you would like to. And we hit save. So we got it completed, and we're going to go to continue. So now we have the next, it says complete the setup. We have local market domination, we have the ISBN, we have the 6x9, we have the finished cover glossy, we've used the PDF, it's in there. What happens once the files are submitted to ensure the PDF submission requirements. I receive an email in 24 hours of the next step. While you wait, set up your distribution channels. All right, so when is the review process complete? After you approve your proof, once you receive, carefully review, approve your proof, and the review process will be complete. It won't allow me to complete the setup, which this is good, because it says over here, interior, there's action required. And our automated print check found 2 issues with my file. And so what we have to do is go through and look at what are the problems. So we go over here and launch Interior Reviewer. It will open that up for us. And part of what it is says the fonts are missing from your file, and we've replaced them with a default. Go ahead and get started. It's font Adobe, Fan, Healthy, Standard B, American Typewriter. You need to embed the missing fonts in your file. Learn how to embed fonts, and the PDF was submitted at a different size from the expected trim. They've attempted to place it properly in there. So what we have to do is kind of go through and look to see if it looks okay. And one of the things I don't like is because it's got the yellow highlighting in there, and we said it's black and white. So that's one of the things that kicked it out. But if we go through, we can look at this, and it looks fine. Now, because like I said, it put everything on the pages for us. The format looks just like it was, and nothing is really outside of these dotted edges, so it's not really cutting anything off. So I don't really see any real problems with it. So I'm going to go ahead and accept it the way it is. Let's see, ignore issues and save. And it will come back over, and now the interior is complete. Now we can go to complete setup, and it will let us finish the setup. And let's see, return, so we can submit the files by checking submit. You're agreeing and confirming your compliance with the member agreement. Go ahead and hit submit files for review. And we're going to go with the standard distribution, which is free. We have to complete a royalty payment profile. So I have to click here, and I go over and put my payee name in, and I'll put in Jody Underhill, my address. All right, so now my tax information is completed. You have to go through and put all the information in there. And now we're going to go back to our member dashboard so that we can continue with the distribution now that we have that in place. And we're going to go to local marketing domination. And we've got those. Now we have to the file review. It's under file review. Then we have to proof our book, right? And we can't proof our book yet because my files are being checked. So now we're going to go to distribute. And we're going to go to channels. Now we can set that up since we have put in our tax information. And we're going to go with standard distribution. And we're going to hit save and continue. And we're going to put a price on here. And usually book prices typically end with a 5. So I'm going to go with $14.95 for the price of my book. And let's see, the minimum list price for this title is $3.59. And I hit calculate, and it'll tell me what the royalty would be on Amazon and the CreateSpace eStore, as well as in pounds and euros. So I've got that. Now the pricing. Hit save and continue. And the fact is probably somebody may buy it just when they come across it if you put a unique title on it. It's like Vanessa has a book and she gets a check for like $50 a month from people that are buying her book online. Now we go into the description, and you want to put the description in for what you want this to be. I'm just going to put in local market. You can put up to 4,000 characters. I still have 3,899 remaining. Then BISC category, what's this? You hit choose. You want to know what the category you're going to put it in. And we will go with business and economics. And we'll come over here, go with marketing, and we'll go with general, right? So we've got business and economics, marketing, general. Choose this category. Additional information, book language English. Search keywords, we'll put local marketing. Now what you would want to put in here, I want to put Greenville SC, just because I want it to be able to come up for that. It does not contain adult content, and I'm not worried about large print. So now I'm going to hit save and continue. Each keyword must be no more than 25 characters. All right. Your files are still being reviewed. A final print ready cover file is needed to continue to KDP. You'll be emailed when the review is complete. So we've got everything done we can do. We can go down here to, so we got everything done there, and we can go down here to sales and marketing and track sales, marketing, services. So there we have it set up. The only thing we have left to do is wait for the review to come back from CreateSpace and then order our copy. So that's it. See you in the next video. Hello and welcome to the sales training area. And what we're going to do with this is we're going to go through first of all and lay the foundation. We're going to put the groundwork in place for the sales process so that you have the tools to utilize and work with as you move through. Then we're going to go through and handle each of the challenges that salespeople have and look at the specific area that will address that to help you overcome that challenge. Rather than wrapping it all into one big thing where you have to go and watch hours and hours of videos, what we've done here is break it into individual sections so that you go and look at the area that's giving you the most trouble at the time. Because as you go through this process, you're going to find that the problem is not going to stay the same. You're going to address one issue that you may be having, and then you're going to have, then another one's going to pop up. So you may have an issue with not having a prospecting system in place. And so you put that in place and you start prospecting, and now you wind up running into you're getting out think it over too often, or you can't get past the gatekeeper. So what we're going to do is, first of all, lay the foundation, and then we're going to go into more specifics later as we go through this. So with that in mind, the first thing that you have to realize is, yes, you have a marketing company, you own a local marketing business, and I don't care if it's focused specifically on selling mobile apps or and mobile websites, or if it's you're doing search engine optimization or pay-per-click or videos, whatever you're doing, it all comes down to the process really is the same. You have to get in front of business owners in order to share with them what it is that you do and identify whether they have a need for your product and service. And with that, we're going to go through it systematically and lay that foundation. Whether you've been doing this for a while or you're just getting started, most people run into the same problem. I know I certainly did. I worked at a different job. Sales was not really part of my job when I worked at the power company. And so when I left, I had to learn how to do sales. Now, I thought I knew how to do selling because I'd been selling $1 million projects to large businesses, but I was selling that like to the federal government who pays $10,000 for a toilet seat, so it wasn't really that hard. And when I left that and started selling my own services, I really had a little bit of a struggle. So the first thing you have to do is the first person that you have to sell is yourself. You have to feel good and comfortable and confident that the product and services that you're going to be offering are going to fulfill and provide the value that you're expressing that they will. Once you have that, then if you know that the product and service you have is going to provide that value for them, then if you don't share it with people, you're sort of committing malpractice by not letting them know that you can help them. Kind of like a doctor has to take the Hippocratic Oath if they see someone in need or is injured and they can help them, they must help them. We sort of need to look at it the same way. We have tools, powerful tools and services within our grasp that can help businesses that may be struggling or you can help businesses that are already successful become more successful. It's our job, and it's really our obligation and our duty to go out and share and explain the things that we can do, because even in this day and age of everyone understanding the internet, or not understanding it, knowing about the internet, and so social media is out there, they still don't know exactly how they can take it and put it to use for themselves. And that's our job. Yeah, they know about mobile marketing and mobile apps, but they don't know that they should have one for their business. It's our job to help educate them and take them through that process. So we're going to start off and we're going to look at prospecting. And then from that, we're going to look at setting up and do. So we're going to start off by looking at prospecting and going through the different ways of prospecting. From there, we're going to look at, as part of that prospecting, building strategic alliances with people that are in our area or people that are in the community that we're serving. Because even if you're doing this on a national level, there's still movers and shakers within those communities that you need to identify. And then we're going to look at the pre-qualification process. Then we'll look at the appointment. We're going to look at the follow-up email that goes after the appointment, and then we're going to look at the proposal, because the selling process really is 5 steps. And if you use the components from those 5 steps, you'll be able to go through that list of the complaints that salespeople have or the issues that they're having, and you're going to be able to line through each one of them as being able to cover that and be able to handle it. And it'll also act as a resource for you to come back to if you run into something, because we get this training and we learn it and we look at it and we think, okay, I got it, I'm going to run out and do it. Well, until you do it a few times, you're not going to be able to actually become good at it. Because the thing is, the thing about if it's worth becoming good at, it's worth being bad at to begin with, and you have to go through some trial and error. And the way I look at it is, I think it was Jim Rohn that said, you can't teach a kid how to ride a bicycle in a seminar. And I can't give you every little detail that you're going to have to go out and be successful. I can give you the tools, and then you're going to have to go out and practice using those tools in order to become successful with this process. So the way the system is set up is for you to go through it systematically to get the foundational groundwork for the sales process. And then from there, it goes into the specific areas that you may need help with. And so with that, I look forward to seeing you in the rest of the videos.
When it comes to sales training, there actually is a process, and we're going to go through the structure of the process whenever it comes to sales. Well, usually whenever someone starts talking about sales, and just about anyone I talk to, they have a ton of challenges, like getting outlinked over too often, not getting a firm commitment or conditions regarding return calls, making too many bids and proposals that don't turn into sales, giving brochures too long, unclear what needs to be done on a weekly, daily basis to reach goals. So any of these challenges that you may have, the sales process will actually help you get rid of those challenges by keeping you in control and knowing exactly where you're at each step of the process. Now, whenever it comes to the structure of the process, the first thing to remember is that any meeting that you go to, there can only be one of 3 outcomes. And those 3 outcomes have to be either a yes, a no, or a clear next step. That's the only 3, because if there's not one of these 3, then it's basically going to be a runaround or a be back or a callback, and you're going to wind up chasing them. So at the end of every meeting, there has to be a yes, a no, or a clear next step. Either yes, absolutely, this looks great, we're ready to do this. No, it's not a fit for us. Or the clear next step is something that's going to happen, and we're going to cover this more in detail just a little bit later, but the clear next step is a complete understanding of exactly what's going to happen next, when it's going to happen, and the exact day and time. But like I said, we'll get into that in just a little bit. But keep these 3 outcomes in mind as we go through the rest of this process. As you see, whenever it comes to the 3 outcomes, the reason that this works is because selling, there's a psychology to it. It's a gut thing. Decisions are made with the heart and the gut, not the head. When someone decides they're going to buy something, let me think about it. When the last time you bought something, you may have done some research, but it's because of how it was going to make you feel whenever you were buying it. The result you were going to get from having bought it. I don't care if it was a new car or if it was a new computer. The feeling that you were going to get owning that is what you felt in your gut, not all of the details in the process you went through of deciding which one it was going to be. Tell it like it is. Decision makers buy from professionals that they trust. Traditional sales often destroys trust because we get too pushy. We think that they should buy from us exactly the way that we like to buy things, instead of making it so that they can trust us first by letting them know that it's okay to tell us no if they feel like it's not a fit. Although most people will never, ever say that whenever it comes to sales. They are too scared to hear the word no. And finally, you teach people how to treat you. Sales resistance is not a natural part of the sales process. It's a direct byproduct of the salesperson's behavior. It's because of how you go in there. It's the demeanor that you have. If you go in not expecting the sale, guess what? That's going to come across. If you go in expecting to make the sale and first of all looking to help them rather than to try to sell them, that's what's going to come across. So keep the psychology of selling in mind as we go through this, and I'll continue to remind you through the process. So the 5-step sales process really comes down to, first of all, prospecting. You have to have prospects and business owners to speak to, or you're not going to be in business very long. So you have to come up with your prospecting methods. You can prospect by networking, and you can network in a number of different places, at chambers, at Rotary, at civic organizations. You can go to meetups. There's a number of different places for prospecting. You can also do prospecting by doing direct mail. You can do prospecting by doing speaking engagements. You can do prospecting by sending emails. You can do prospecting by cold calling. There's any number of ways of prospecting. Once you've done the prospecting, once you have a lead and someone who is interested in your product or service, the second step is the pre-qualification call. And that is actually identifying if there really is a need to meet. And this can save you a lot of time, and we'll talk about that later. Also, next is the appointment, sitting down with them to actually review what's going on in their business to determine if you can help them. The follow-up email, so that you can recap the things that you talked about during the appointment. And finally, the recommendation, what it is that you feel and that you're going to propose is going to be the best fit for them in order to solve the problem that you've identified and agreed upon with them. So let's take a look at the pre-qualification call. This is something that a lot of people miss. And what's important about pre-qualification? Well, number one, you don't waste time going to meet with people that aren't really going to be interested in what you have to offer. Number two, the prospect earns the right to meet with you. Your time is valuable. You're the business owner here. So if you're not valuing your time at around $200 an hour, and you're chasing around going to meet with anyone, now I know at first it can be tempting to go meet with anyone who's willing to meet with you, and you may want to do that to get practice, but once you have that practice under your belt, you're going to want to make sure that you qualify the people that are worthy of your time. And number three, you need to prepare. You need to have an idea of what and who needs to be included whenever you're going to meet with them. You can ask them questions during the pre-qualification call about this so that you know who else is going to need to be in the meeting, if anyone indeed does need to be. You need to ask good questions. Ask educated, open-ended questions. Like, what are you currently doing with your marketing? Thought-provoking questions. How is that working for you? Get them involved in the process. Get them to share with you. Get them to ask them what things are happening in the marketplace that interest them. Any of those types of things that are going to get them to open up and tell you more about what's going on. And whenever you ask them what things they're currently doing for their marketing, they'll tell you. And you may have to dig a little further and give them some ideas of what they're doing for their marketing. Are you advertising in the yellow pages? Do you have a website? I noticed you have a website, but I noticed that it's not mobile. Have you looked at a mobile website? Any of those things like that in order to get them thinking about the process and qualifying. The other thing you're looking for is, are they happy with their current situation, or are they looking to improve their situation? Do they need more business? Do they want more business? Because here's the thing. If they're happy and satisfied right where they're at, offering them to bring them more business isn't going to be something that they're interested in. So you'll need to get that out of the way. This seems like a silly thing, but I met with someone one time when I went to talk to them about how much business I could bring, and the guy goes, "That's not even what I want. I'm getting ready to retire, and I just met with you because you were somebody that I met at the chamber at an event." They didn't really care about growing their business because they were happy with what way it was, and they were even starting to ramp it down. Make sure that they want to grow their business, and make sure that they're unhappy with their current situation. And whenever you do that, whenever you decide that, okay, it is, let's say you're asking them questions and they're currently advertising in the yellow pages and they really know that they need to get online. They really have seen someone else that has a mobile application and they know that they need one for their business or they need a mobile website. And you say, what? It sounds like it makes sense for us to meet. And you go ahead and set a time. Now, whenever you set a time, remember, there's something that has to be done whenever you do that. And that is, you must set a clear next step. When you set a clear next step, it has a date, a time, and expectations. And that would sound like this. Jerry, great. Sounds like it makes sense for us to meet. I've got time. We've agreed we're going to meet at Tuesday at 10 a.m. We're going to have about 30 minutes, and at the end of that meeting, as well as we've looked deeper into how we may be able to work together, we'll determine if it's a fit or not. And either way, that's okay. And you set the appointment, and then you send a short follow-up email to let them know, to verify the time, the date, and that you'll be coming to their office. They'll be coming to your office, what the details of that meeting are. That short follow-up email is one of the things that a lot of people miss, because you just expect that they're going to remember that that's exactly what they're supposed to be doing at that time. You need to be the professional here. You need to stay in control of the process. So once you set that appointment, you send them the follow-up email in order to make sure that they get it on their calendar. Now, whenever you go to the meeting, what is the first thing you're going to want to do? As soon as you walk into the meeting and you sit down and you exchange pleasantries, so you're going to want to set the ground rules. Remember, ground rules have a time frame, agenda of what will happen, and the expectations. So it'll sound like this. Jerry, thank you so much for agreeing to meet with me today. We've got about 30 minutes set aside for our meeting. And during this meeting, I've got some questions for you. I'm sure you'll have some questions for me. And at the end of our time together, we'll determine whether or not our services are going to be a fit for you. And either way, that's okay. So Jerry, do you feel comfortable telling me no? Great. So first question is, boom, and you go right into asking the questions. The ground rules help you stay in control. The time frame is important because you don't want to get a few minutes into the meeting and then them say, oh, you know what, I forgot I have to go do something. You get them to agree that they still have that same 30 minutes set aside that they agreed upon. Next is the agenda of what will happen. I have some questions for you. I'm sure you'll have some for me. You're letting them know what's going to happen, because when you set the ground rules, they let them know that you're in control, and you levelize the playing field, because having a level playing field is so important when it comes to sales. You never want to make the person that you're speaking to feel like they're any more important than you are. You're doing them a favor by being there to talk to them about their marketing and what you can do in order to help them. If they didn't have a problem, you wouldn't be there. You don't go to the doctor when you're feeling great. You go to the doctor whenever you feel bad. They're bringing you in to talk with them because they need help with their marketing. And finally, setting the expectations. At the end of the conversation, we'll make a decision if our services are a fit for you or not. And either way, that's okay. So many salespeople are so scared to set the expectation and let them know that it's okay to say no that they stay away from it. And if the reason that you want to do it is because whenever they're sitting there thinking, you want them thinking about what you're talking about, not trying to figure out how they're going to come up with a way to tell you no without hurting your feelings. So you have a clear next step when you end a meeting. When you begin a meeting, you always set the ground rules. So now that you set the ground rules, you go into the interview. And with the interview, you review what you talked about on the phone. Jerry, when we talked on the phone, you mentioned the fact that you're currently not doing anything online. And we also discussed the fact that there's about 300 people every month that are looking exactly for your services. We'll go through and look at what that would mean to your business to have that so that those 300 people are finding you. Then you go into the big picture question. So let me ask this. What are the biggest challenges that you're having right now whenever it comes to your marketing? What type of goals? Now, we have a full section on the questions that you go through for the interview that will be located just below where these videos are. We'll go through all of the different questions that you can ask them as you dig into their business. Because the main thing you're looking for here is the challenges, where's their pain, and then from there you want to go into looking at what makes them different, what separates them, what are you going to be able to utilize to help them position themselves in such a way that they're going to find you as being the solution to their problems. And we'll go through how to set that up. And during this time you can use things with them like facts like that 24 of the 25 largest newspapers experienced record declines in circulation in the past year. Local and mobile, 82% of local searches are followed by an action, a store visit, a call, an email, or a purchase, which is my favorite thing. So little things like that that you can share. Also the facts like the yellow pages, the fact that most people aren't using yellow pages today, and the joke I use is they're sort of like nursing homes, because it's usually people who are 80 years of age or older who use them, and they're very expensive. So you want to, when I do that, I ask them, so let me ask you this, if you're advertising in the yellow pages, Are most of your target market over the age of 80? And if it's not, then that's probably not the best use of their money. And when we talk about the local and mobile, it's figuring out the fact of what they're doing and how they're missing out on 80% of those local searches that are followed by an action, right? Because what we're really looking to do is we're looking to play doctor here. We're looking to dig down and find the pain. We want to look for pain indicators. And when we find those pain indicators, and we're able to share with them ways that they can solve that pain and alleviate that pain, and they're in agreement, don't stop there. Most people stop at that point. You have to go to the next step, and you have to make them sell it back to you. And here's what that sounds like. So, Jerry, if we did that, if we were able to put this in place and get you so that you're on the first page of Google, or get your pay-per-click ads so that people are seeing them, or have a mobile application so that people that have come into your business are able to download the app so that you can send them a push notification, what would that do for your business? Why would you want to have that? And then whenever they sell it back to you, it makes it much more valuable. And here's the reason for that. The reason you want them to do it is because, let's look at it this way. Have you ever read a book and then gone to the movie? Which one was better? Reading the book or watching the movie? Well, it's usually always reading the book. And why is that? The movie never quite measures up to what you had envisioned it when you're reading the book. That's because your imagination is so much more powerful than any movie director can make it. Even as good as Steven Spielberg may be, and as great as the graphic effects can be, they can't match your imagination. The same thing is true whenever it comes to the person. As they're seeing and feeling themselves having your solution, they're going to paint the picture much more clearly than you can paint it for them. So when you make it sell them back to you, it makes it so that they are seeing themselves reaping the reward and the benefit of having your services already in place. Now, the next thing down here where you see WAIT, what I want you to do, if you're taking notes, is write that across the top of your paper. Because as salespeople and as local marketers, we have so many cool things that we can share with them that we get so caught up in wanting to tell them all about how great everything is that we wind up talking and talking and talking rather than asking questions and listening. So WAIT stands for Why Am I Talking? Because if you're hearing yourself talk a lot, you need to stop and back up and ask them questions. Because if you don't, their eyes are going to glaze over. They're not going to be listening to you. Basically, you're going to sort of sound like Charlie Brown's teacher to them if you keep going for more than about 5 minutes about a solution that you may be able to provide them. So always, always, always look for the pain indicators, make them sell it back to you, and talk way less. Listen. They talk way less than the listening that you're doing. So now you've found the pain, you've made them sell it back to you, and you've listened intently to them. Now it's time to play the if-then game. And if-then, the reason we want to do this is because we look at what the pain is, we cover what the investment is, and then we cover the steps to get there. Here's how this sounds. Jerry, we've looked at it right now. You're not bringing as much business in the door as you know that you should be able to bring in. It's really sort of costing you if you're only making about half of what you thought you should be making at this point with your business. And the fact that 2 of your main competitors do have exactly the solutions that we're talking about in place. And so in order to even stay somewhat competitive, you have to do this. Now, we talked about the investment, and it's going to be a ballpark of blank. I never ever tell them a specific amount up front, even if I know what it is, because you need to position yourself with value in the fact that you are not a one-size-fits-all type of company. You're not a one-size-fits-all solution. You have to go back, dig a little deeper after you've gathered this information in order to position yourself so that you are coming back to them with an exact figure of what it's going to cost. But during the meeting, they're going to need to know. If you're pitching them a mobile app, they may be thinking it's $200. In reality, it's $2,000. So you have to get them in the ballpark. You don't have to tell them it's going to be $19.95. You say, I'm going to go back, we'll put this together. We have a great team of developers, and really what this is going to come down to is we're talking about somewhere, because of the things that you want in the app, we're talking somewhere in the neighborhood of $1,500 to $2,200. And in looking at bringing that together, I'll know more after we get into looking at exactly how we need, the things we need to make this work. Or if you're going to be doing a pay-per-click advertising campaign, even if you know that it's a set amount, you tell them, to get this set up, you're looking probably somewhere between $800 to $1,000. If your price is $995, tell them somewhere between $900 and $1,100. Give them a range. Don't tell them exactly. And then you review the steps to get there. Once we have this in place, then it'll take us X, Y, Z to get this done. Here's what if-then does for you. Actually, we didn't even talk about the if-then question. Once you've identified these things, if-then sounds like this. Jerry, if I go back and put the proposal together, on a scale of 1 to 10, it's an 11. What happens next? If I go back and put the proposal together, and on a scale of 1 to 10, it's an 11, then what happens next? If I do what I say I'm going to do, then what are you going to do? If then. The reason you want to do this is because it overcomes obstacles. Those obstacles always, when it comes to objections, are going to be either money, time, or other people. And by asking the if-then question, what that does is it brings up what is it that it's going to be. Because if you ask the if-then and you go, well, then we're going to have to look at the budget and see where we're going to come up with the money. Okay, where do you think you're going to come up with the money? Or do you think there's going to be an issue budget-wise coming up with that money? Is this something that's going to be doable for you budget-wise? Or if time is going to be the obstacle, well, then we'll look at it. We'll look at putting it on the calendar so that we can get started with it after the first of the year. Now you know that time's going to be the obstacle. Okay, well, if we look at it after the first of the year, what is it that's going to keep you from being able to do that? You may have a solution that you can help them go ahead and get the ball rolling so that you can get paid right after the first of the year, but you can go ahead and get a head start. Or if it's going to be, well, we have to wait and put it before the board in the second quarter. Now, you need to know these types of things so that you can start to work to overcome those things. Or it may be other people. And this really usually is the biggie, is whenever they have the surprise silent partner that they need to have involved in the negotiations or in the meeting and actually should have been involved in the meeting ahead of time. Because back when you do the pre-qualification call, and you say, Jerry, is there anyone else that you feel would be key to being in the meeting as we discuss these things? So even if he said no, then when you get to this part, he goes, well, then I'll have to bring Tim in and he'll have to take a look at it to make sure that he's in agreement with it. Before you leave their office, Jerry, okay, I respect that. Tim's going to have to look at it. Can we get Tim to maybe come in now so we can kind of explain a little bit about what we're talking about? Or if he's not available, what kind of questions do you think Tim would have? Because you have to turn this person, if they really want it, if they're not the ultimate decision maker, you're going to have to turn them into an internal champion. And by finding out what the things that Tim's going to want to know, you can help pre-arm Jerry for being able to do that. So those obstacles are time, money, and other people. And that's what the if-then does for you. Now you've got an agreement as far as the ballpark of the price. They know that they not only need but want your solution, and you've done the if-then question, and you know that they're ready to move forward if on a scale of 1 to 10 it's an 11. And so that should keep it so that there's no surprises down the road. So now we come to the closing. You want to set a clear next step, and then you want to send a follow-up email summarizing the interview. So at the end, Jerry, we've talked about it. We've looked at our solution being a fit for you. We've talked about the price range, and that fits within your budget. And we've looked at the fact that there's really shouldn't be anything in the way. If on a scale of 1 to 10 it's 11, there shouldn't be anything from bringing us to a stop. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to put a proposal together. I'll have it over to you today. It's like 2 o'clock now. After I do some review, I can get the proposal over to you by 10 a.m. tomorrow, which is Tuesday. And tell me, how long do you think it would take for you to know, how long do you feel it will be for you to review the proposal and have any questions put together that you may have in order for me to be able to come back and review this with you? Okay, you can have it, if he says he can have it ready, be done with it by Wednesday at 10 a.m. Great, so here's what I'll do. I'll go back, I'm going to have the proposal over to you by 10 a.m. tomorrow, which is Tuesday. And then we will get together Wednesday at 10 a.m., whether you're going to meet them in person or you're going to make a phone call to them. And we'll review any questions that you may have, and they get those answered, and then we will move forward with getting you started in the process. Does that sound fair? Great. So now you have the clear next step. You go back, you send the follow-up email, you review everything that you ask, you summarize it, and you put it into their words. Because if they said it and it's their words, it resonates with them. It also brings them back to the exact state they were in. If they said, well, if we had this mobile app, that would really bring us into the, the cutting edge of the industry and separate us and apart, make us stand apart from anyone else in the space. So in that follow-up email, I say, Jerry, as you stated, having this mobile application is going to bring you to the forefront in the industry and give you a cutting edge in the marketplace. It was their words. You send that over to them, and boom, right? So now it's time to go back and answer their questions. And sometimes people refer to this as the presentation. I don't really do much of a presentation because I feel the best presentation that the client will ever see is the one that they never see. It's the one in their head, not the one I'm going to go back with the dog and pony show. But so you're going to go in there, you're going to have the meeting, and you're going to review what you discussed with them. You're going to, first of all, set the ground rules. Jerry, you sent the proposal over. You said you would have some time to review it. So I've got about 15 minutes set aside for this meeting. I know that you'll probably have some questions for me. I'll be doing my best to answer those questions for you. And then we'll look at moving forward to getting you set up with this service, with this, the next step. Then you present your ideas with interaction if you're going to be presenting. You listen to them, and most importantly is you want to maintain the ground rules or bring it to a no. Because your ground rules are you're going to answer their questions so that you can get to the point of moving forward to the next step of getting them started with the service. Not to do a runaround, not to make it so that that you have to go back and go through another iteration of the proposal. It should have been clear enough by the time that you do this. Those ground rules are going to help you, and don't be afraid to bring it to a no. You may have to actually do somewhat of a takeaway here, but this is where we want to make sure that we stay in control of the process. It may feel a little uncomfortable to some people to begin with, but this is the biggie. This is the thing that you need to really to have in place to stay in control. Back when we were talking about the clear next step, which is what you have to do whenever you get in the closing, making the clear next step, this is going to keep you from chasing people. Whenever you set that clear next step that you're going to send a proposal over at 10 a.m. on Tuesday and that you're going to follow up with them at Wednesday at 10 a.m. because they told you that's whenever they would have had time to look at it and come up with any questions that they may have. And that keeps it so that they'll be there. Now, if it's going to be a phone call and for some reason they're not there and they don't take the call, don't jump to the conclusion that something's wrong. Something may have happened. But whenever you set a clear next step and you make it so that it is a confirmed appointment on their calendar and you follow that, you send a follow-up email and then you state it in that email, then that is going to keep you in control of this process. Even to the point of bringing it to a no, you're still in control. You're the person that's working through this process. You're not leaving anything to chance. Having that clear next step in place allows them to know exactly what is going to happen. You would appreciate it if whenever you walked into any sales environment, if they told you exactly how the process was going to work, you would not only like it, but you would respect them for telling you that. And you would understand that they're in control of the process. You're simply there in order to understand what they can provide for you and again to be able to make the decision if it's going to be a fit for you. That's it. Whenever you do it this way and you go from it from a consultative standpoint of asking them questions and digging into uncovering the pain and how you can solve it, it comes across so much better and it takes you out of the position of having to feel like you are a quote-unquote salesperson because you're in a position of helping them. You're not going in there to force anything on them. You're not going in there to trick them. You're not going in there to persuade them. You're going in to share with them, uncover their problems, share with them the solution that you have, and bring them to the decision of that working with you is going to be the best fit for them and their business because of the superior offer that you put in front of them. And that's really it. When we go back to those 5 steps, remember, it's just this simple. Prospecting, keeping your sales funnel full. Pre-qualification, making sure that they are qualified to meet with you and that they actually have a need for the services that you're going to be offering to them. The appointment, setting the ground rules, and at the end of the appointment having a clear next step. The follow-up email, that is going to recap the meeting that you had with them, as well as confirming the clear next step. And then finally, the recommendation, which is the proposal that you come back to them with. Now, within that, we have the one-page proposal, and we also have the two-page agreement that is going to help you with those last two steps of the process. So that's really it with the five-step process. We'll go deeper into each of these sections as we move through our 90-day program, but that's the foundation of how the five-step process works. So I wanted you to have that overview so that when we start talking about these things as we go through your critical action plan and other aspects of the program, that you have this foundation that we're able to refer back to. That's it. Good luck and good selling.
Talk about networking. And networking can work from anywhere from a local level to a national level. You know, it doesn't matter what you've chosen as your target market, you still have to build a network of people in order to be able to get your message out. Now, the first thing that you want to look at, I'm going to talk first about networking on a local level. And this is the same thing that I did when I started my business. It's what I did whenever I did the 30-day challenge a couple of years ago. And it's actually what I'm doing right now with the local business that I'm starting it all over again with. And that is in building a local network by networking with people who are members of the Chamber of Commerce. Now, a lot of times people are like, well, when I go to a chamber meeting, it just seems to be a bunch of other people looking for business. Well, that's because they don't really get it. And what I'm going to do is share with you what you need to be doing when you're networking so that you can be one of those people that gets it and so that you can be very effective. Now, this starts off, first, the thing I want you to do is I want you to not just go online and sign up for a Chamber of Commerce membership. I want you to actually go into each chamber and interview them. Basically, it's like you're doing a job interview and they're the person that's interviewing to be able to gain your business. Don't just go join it. I remember whenever I owned a national franchise back in 2007, after I left the corporate franchise training, they said, you need to go join the Chamber of Commerces that are in the geographic area that my franchise was for. And I ran out. I didn't ask any questions. I just had it on my to-do list that I needed to join 2 chambers of commerce. So I went into the first chamber and I walked in the door and said, I need to join the chamber. And the young lady behind the counter handed me a form. I filled it out. I wrote them a check and they said, okay, thank you. Here's your plaque. You're a member. And that was it. Then I went to the next chamber and I walked in the door and said, hey, I'm a new local business owner and I need to join the chamber. And the person said, let me get the director of membership for you. And this person came out and said, I'd like to know more about your business and ask you some questions. I'm like, okay, that's not what they did last time, but okay. And we sat down and they said, look, tell me about your business and what specifically your goals are and what you're looking to do. And as I explained what my business was, I said, well, why are you asking me this? I said, well, the thing is that there are a number of chambers in this area, and we want to make sure that we're the right fit for you so that you get the value out of what you're going to be paying for the chamber membership. And I said, like what? So, well, for instance, if you're going to be if your business was specifically going to serve customers that are on the island of Palm Beach, then you really shouldn't join our chamber. You should join the Palm Beach chamber instead of the Chamber of the Palm Beaches. And I explained, what my business was. And you know what? Instead of you just joining the chamber, why don't you do this? Why don't you come to a networking event that we're having tonight, if you're able to, and I can introduce you to some of the ambassadors, and they can introduce you to some local business owners, so that you can see how our networking events operate to see if that's something that is going to be beneficial for you. I was blown away. But what it did was it gave me the blueprint of exactly how to help you in going about doing your networking. Now, I'm going to step back to the story of what happened most recently, and that was within the last few weeks, going and joining the local chambers here within the county that I live in. And there are 5 different chambers, and you don't have to go join every chamber. My goal was to go join the chambers because of the nature of the business. And so I went into each one though, but I didn't join online. I walked in the door and I spoke to the directors of membership at each one of the chambers. And I sat down with them, explained my business to them, asked them how they felt their chamber would be able to serve me. And I already knew I was going to join, but I still wanted to see how they would handle it and what they would say. And because of that, now, who do you think is more memorable to somebody that's running a chamber? Somebody that comes in and sits down with them and actually goes over the benefits of the chamber, or somebody that just joins online that they'll never be able to put a face with a name? You want to be memorable. You want to walk in the door and share with them. Now, here's what happened. At the one chamber, because of going and sitting down with a person and explaining what we do and helping local businesses, I was invited to A, join a committee that helps small businesses as a mentor in a mentor program, and B, was actually scheduled and met with the vice president of the chamber, who's making some changes and looking for some direction on how they can improve the membership experience for the chamber. I had a meeting with them and walked through some things that we could help them with and expanding how they communicate with the chamber members. And some easy, simple little things that you could do that I gave them that can kind of revolutionize their world. And it's things that we take for granted because we're in this internet marketing world, but we think everyone knows what we do, but they don't. And it's very simple little things like the subject line of an email or a video that explains how to post something on their chamber calendar. Simple things like that that can help them improve and enhance the chamber membership. Now, the next thing is you go to every event that they have for the first 2 to 3 months that you're doing this. I mean every event. I don't care if it's a ribbon cutting, if it's a business before hours, business after hours, if it's a luncheon, you go to it. And you go because you want to continue, you want to basically become a familiar face. Whenever you walk into the crowd, you want them to know your name and what it is that you do. The reason for that is because the more they know you and the more they know what you do, suddenly the more chances for referrals come about because whenever someone mentions something, and also it allows them to introduce you and introduce what you do to other people that may need your services. You'll always find connectors whenever you go to these meetings. And what you can do is become a connector. Now, I'll admit, for the last year and a half, I've been working for a large corporation and had stepped out of the local networking a little bit and had to kind of knock the rust off and get back into the networking meetings. And I found myself in the first networking meeting kind of standing back a little bit rather than actually stepping into what I know how to do. And I found myself because I was focusing on me and what it was I was selling instead of focusing on them and becoming interested in them. Now, if you've seen my videos before, you know this, but I'm going to repeat it for you here. And the thing that I just had to step back into and utilize immediately was the 4 questions that you use anytime that you talk with someone at a networking event. And that is, you make it about them instead of making it about you and what your product is and how you can help them. First of all, you ask them, so what do you do? Because normally they're wearing a name tag, and the name tag has their name and maybe their company, but that doesn't really say what they do. So you can start off by asking, so what do you do? And they'll tell you, oh, that's interesting. How long have you been doing that? And they'll tell you, so let me ask you a question. What do you like best about it? And finally, how would I know if someone I'm talking to would be a good referral for you? In asking those questions, it has nothing to do with you or you trying to sell them anything. It has to do with you finding information out about them and their business and how you may be able to refer business to them. I promise you that no one will shy away from you or think that you're being rude or disruptive or annoying if you're asking them questions about them. Again, it's what do you do? How long have you been doing that? What do you like best about it? And how would I know if someone I'm talking to would be a good referral for you? Very simple, easy questions. And right below this video, there's going to be a form that you can take and actually print out and take it with you in case you get stuck and don't remember those questions. I had to remind myself. That's why the timing of this is so great, because I'm actually doing the same stuff, right along with you guys. So the next thing was, I said, go to every event. I went to an event for a smaller chamber. It was a luncheon, and went to it, and there were only 8 people there. 8 people at this luncheon. And to begin with, I thought, man, what a waste. Because of the 8 people, 2 of them were me and Vanessa, my wife. And so there were only 6 people there that I had not met. Actually, 5, because one of the people was the chamber person that I spoke to when I joined the chamber. But I didn't let that, first of all, I had that mindset. Then I had to change the way I felt and look at, okay, what are the opportunities that I can gain from this? And what it allowed me to do, because it was in that intimate setting, was share more of my story and the business that I do and why I'm in the business of helping local businesses expand their reach and actually grow their business. Because when you share with people that you're helping businesses grow, that gets their attention. And what is the chamber for? It's to help grow businesses. And our business of helping them market their business is about helping those businesses grow, getting their message in front of people that they normally would not be able to. And I was to help them to bring people back in the door. And when you share that that's what you're doing, everyone gets very interested. So, I listened to everyone else at the table and what they did and asked them questions. And from that, 2 days later, after the luncheon, I received a phone call from the director of the chamber asking me if I would be able to come and speak at an event in 2 weeks that they were having a lunch event. That it's a Biz Talks event, and they wanted to do something on social media and internet marketing, but they never had really had someone that could speak proficiently on that topic. Would I be able to do that? Of course I would. It just goes to show you that I'm talking about 3 weeks' time of going in and making myself known, talking to the people at the chamber, following exactly the steps that I've laid out for you, has resulted in meeting with the vice president of a chamber to talk to them about how we can help them with their client experience, and also a talk with the other chamber doing a biz talk for a luncheon. Now, granted, it's a smaller chamber. There are only 6 people at the other luncheon that I didn't know, and there may only be 20 people. But guess what? How many of those 20 people do you need to make a 1-hour talk at lunch worth your while? I mean, if you're selling a mobile app, your one client, $2,000, is worth your hour of being there. And I promise you, if you do a great job and follow some of the formats and the things that we have within the portal here for you to be able to use to communicate with them and share with them the things that you do and how they can actually do some of the things themselves, you're going to wind up with more business than you can handle whenever you get through doing those talks. And if you're not comfortable doing talks, that's okay. The fact is with the formulas that we have that you can follow, it makes it so that anyone can. I know I worked with one person that went from being deathly afraid to speak in front of a group to being able to get on stage and speak in front of 1,000 people, just with some simple little tips and coaching that we were able to do to help them get comfortable. Because after all, when you're nervous in front of a group and doing a talk, it's not because of them, it's because you're making it about you. Whenever you make it about sharing information with people and helping them, just like me doing these videos, the reason I went from being able to not talk in front of a camera to being able to share and communicate is I'm not doing this about me. It is not about me at all. This is about you. This is about me putting my best forth in order to be able to help you with your business. And whenever you come from a standpoint of that, it makes it all the easier to do that. Now, here's another tip. One of the reasons that the lady called back and said, oh, you know what, I want to talk with you, have you come in and do the talk, is because every person I meet when I'm networking, every person I receive a business card from, I send them a handwritten thank you. It's just a simple little thank you that says, Melanie, it was nice meeting you at the chamber luncheon. If I can ever refer business your way, I certainly will. Jody. That's it. If there was something that you happened to have talked about, like one lady that I spoke with actually was born and raised like 60 miles away from where I was in Florida, and just mentioned what a small world that we, from Florida to the Greenville area. Nice meeting you. If I can ever refer business your way, I certainly will. It's the same thing, just one little tidbit. And if you don't have a tidbit, that's okay. But every person that I get a business card from, I send them a handwritten thank you. Does it take some time? Yeah. But here's the thing. I promise you that if you received a handwritten thank you in the last year, you'll remember who it was from. Now, people ask me, what if my handwriting's horrible? Can I use a service like Send Out Cards? Can I use one of the services that we have within the program? Yes, that's fine. The handwritten thank you done immediately so that they receive it the next day or within 48 hours is the most effective and the most memorable. But anything sending to them other than an email is more effective and better than nothing, or than sending them an email. I mean, an email is better than nothing, but the handwritten thank you comes to them, they have something in their hand, it's physical, and it makes it so that they remember you. I walk in and I guarantee you that I'll have 2 or 3 people the next time I go to it going, you know what, thank you for the card that you sent me. You know what, they remembered me. And I didn't say if you ever need a thingamajiggy or a whoozy-watsy, give me a call. Nope. I simply said, it was a pleasure meeting you. If I can ever refer business your way, I certainly will. And my name. No business card. They've already got my business card, because if I've got theirs, they've got mine. And if they haven't looked at it or thought about it, when they get that thank you note, they will. Because now you become a person that's worthwhile knowing. You become someone that they see as someone who gets it, someone who can be a connector. Now, is everyone going to respond? No, absolutely not. But enough people will that it's going to continue to make it worth your while to expand and grow your network. Your phone will ring more often, and people will remember you when you walk in the door. Because after all, that's what this is about. It's about growing your business through a network of people. Is it about sales? Absolutely, and we're going to talk all about that. But the first thing is about becoming known in your community and being seen as someone who has staying power and is going to be there for the long haul, so that people begin to know, like, and trust you. And when that happens, your business success is assured.
strategic alliances, actually they are broken into three different categories. The first category would be a complementary product or service. And below this, you'll see in the questions area that there's actually areas for you to type in some of these things for yourself so that you can come back and look at this. So to begin with, for complementary products and services, to me, I've always found a person that provides a complementary product or service to doing local marketing is anyone who helps other businesses advertise, and that would be a promotional products company. That would be a great strategic alliance because they're selling them pens and pencils and tchotchkes and stuff with their logo on it, and we're helping them to get their message out about their business online, not necessarily from physical items. The next person that does complementary products or services, that would be a business consultant, or perhaps maybe a sales trainer. Those are people that, they're calling them in. We don't conflict. Some of the best referrals I've ever gotten have been from a sales trainer, someone that goes in and teaches their the people that work at the company how to be better at selling. And anytime someone's looking at being better at selling, they always can use more people coming in the door. Now, someone that's calling on the same prospects, an example there would be like the one I talked about with Chris. Here, that would be a financial planner. That specializes in working with business owners, a CPA, and someone that sells office products, for instance. They would be a good strategic alliance. And whenever it comes to, if you want to get in front of doctors, there would be someone that, if you want to talk to cosmetic dentists or to plastic surgeons or someone like that, a pharmaceutical sales rep would be a good person to have a strategic alliance. Now, the last category we have here is movers and shakers. And those are people that are in the community that people look up to. People that are, for instance, a lot of times movers and shakers may be ambassadors at the local chamber. It could be someone who is the head of a certain organization. So what you want to do is list down the different types of businesses, and then over on the right hand side or below that, you'll want to put down the name of the company and who the representative is. And the thing is with this is you want to systematically start reaching out to these people to set up a time, and start looking for them. Because one of the things that I've found is whenever you set the intention, things seem to happen a whole lot better and a whole lot quicker and easier if you have the intention set, rather than if you just go out there haphazardly looking for something to happen. If you go to a networking event expecting to only find people trying to sell you something, guess what? That's probably what you're going to find. If you go to the networking event looking for strategic alliances or people that you can look to as referral partners, that's more likely who you're going to meet. Now, whenever you meet these people and you do decide that you're going to meet, the way that I do that, so you know what? It seems like we have some of the same types of clients in common, and we don't really compete against one another. It might make sense for us to maybe meet over coffee and look and see how we may be able to help each other grow our businesses. Because I'm sure there's some of the people that I'm talking to that I may be able to refer to you, and vice versa. And it would probably be better if I knew a little bit more about what you do, so that I would know exactly how to refer them. And likewise, I can share with you a little bit more about what I do, so that you would know who would be a good referral for me. Not only that, but actually how to present it to them, so that it might make sense for you to refer for me to go ahead and give them a call. Does that make sense? And they always say, well, yeah, sure. No, not always, but most of the time they do. And so you want to have a system and a process in place for doing that. And whenever you do it systematically, it's amazing how it starts to grow. Just like when I went to the networking event where I met Chris, I went with the specific goal in mind of meeting strategic alliance partners. I wasn't necessarily looking to sell my services. I was just starting to build the brand within the area. So once you do that, once you have the appointment set, now it comes to actually sitting down and meeting and talking with the strategic alliance. Whenever you do that, you want to have, there's a list of questions that you'll go through, just like the list of 4 questions that we do at the networking event, only this is a little more in depth because you want to learn just exactly more about them. So the first question is, what is it that you do? Now, it seems kind of general, and you can reframe this a little bit based on who it is that you're meeting with, but really it's going to tell me a little bit more about what you do. I understand that you're a financial planner, but tell me exactly what is it that you do for the people that you're working with. And they'll tell you.
Then the next question would be, what separates you from the competition? And the way I usually frame this is, what is it that what is it that people see and people realize from the value that you provide that separates you from the competition to make them choose you over the next competitor? And that really kind of gets them thinking about it, because we just said what separates you. A lot of times they come up with platitudes, and platitudes are things that can be said by anyone. And you want to be a little more specific about exactly what it is that separates them. Next is, where do you find your customers? And a lot of times they're going to say, well, from referrals. That's great, because that's exactly what we're doing here, is learning about each other's business so that we can provide each other referrals. Now, the other thing that can happen here whenever you look at where do they find their customers is that it could be that there's an opportunity for you to explore more on your side whenever you're talking about your products and services about how you may be able to help them. And you may uncover while you're doing this. Now, that's not the goal, and that's not the reason you're here. But you'll find, amazingly, the more interested you are and the more you go in with the intent of looking at how you can serve them and provide them with referrals and understand more about their business, the opportunities that become apparent as you go through this process. Next is, who or what or who is your best client? And when I say what, it could be different types of businesses. Who is the specific types of individuals? Who's their best client? Then you want to know, what are good referrals from you? Now, this could be different than who their best client is right now. It could be that they're currently working with the owners of multi-million-dollar companies, and really right now, good referrals for them are going to be people that are younger who are looking at starting to set their IRAs in place and start investing in them so that they work with them rather than working with the larger individuals. I don't know. This is, it could be either way. It could be that they're just looking to work with people who are getting ready to go into retirement, instead of working with people that are that they're currently working with that are years away from retirement. They have to tell you, based on, here's your best client, but then who's a good referral for you moving forward. And then finally, what are bad referrals? Who is it that they absolutely don't want to meet with and talk to? And that could be people like, for instance, with financial planners, it could be looking for people that are looking to to double their money in the market in a short period of time. People that are looking for get-rich-quick type investments. Those are not good referrals for them, and they don't want to actually have to deal with them because they really become a time suck. So that's how you go through and ask those questions. Now, the thing that happens with this is they will also then, they'll flip it back to you and ask you about your business, which is in how they can help you. So when I ask what is it that you do? So, well, we provide a platform to local businesses that allows them to actually have their marketing message show up on their current client's phone. Or if you're doing search engine optimization, we provide a way for people to be found on the internet when people are specifically looking for their type of product or service. Be very specific in how it is that you do that. When it comes to what separates you from the competition, it is you have proprietary platforms that others just don't have access to, so that you can not only offer it to them and have it so that it's very effective, but also so that it's cost affordable or cost effective. Next is, where do you find your customers? Just like this, meeting with people like you, strategic alliances that wind up seeing people that can utilize my products and services. You can also let them know that you have other ways of marketing as well, that you do direct mail campaigns to people, that you also have strategic calling systems that you put in place, whatever it is that you're currently doing, because there's tons of different prospecting ways, but tell them what it is that you're doing, how you're doing it. Tell them who is your best client. For your best client, whenever it comes to doing mobile apps, it sort of comes back to those businesses that have a fishbowl, right? The people that are going to be repetitive type customers. Whenever it comes to doing pay-per-click advertising, your best client for that is going to be someone who has a higher ticket price. There's going to be attorneys. It's going to be the entrepreneurial type doctors. So identify and let them know who that is. Let them know who good referrals are, and then also who the people that you don't want to work with, people that you aren't going to be able to provide that much value to, so that you are able to do that. The easiest way to help relate that to them is by what I call a top 10 list. Now, this is an example of a top 10 list. And with a top 10 list, you basically tell them who are the top 10 types of people that you're looking to meet. It could be like healthcare professionals, dentists, chiropractors, eye doctors, plastic surgeons, legal professionals, personal injury attorneys, criminal defense attorneys, divorce attorneys. Those are people that usually when people go online, they may be looking online rather than asking their neighbors for a if they got a DUI, they're going to look for it online rather than ask their neighbor for a referral. Then looking at specific types of people that are going to be other strategic alliances for you, and also maybe the specific people that you're looking to meet. You want to have on there, when people ask you how's business going, when they say things are good, but we could always use more business, the things that you know that they say about your business and the offerings that you're providing. And then finally, you want to tell them how to introduce you. And that is, I know a person who specializes in local marketing. It may make sense to speak with them to see if they can help. If after speaking with them you decide it's not a fit, that's okay. They understand. So would you be interested in me having them contact you? That's how you teach people to introduce you. Now, in looking at the top 10 list, really it's the specific business types, a specific person you would love to get in front of, groups looking for speakers. A lot of times, when we want to do speaking engagements, there are a lot of groups out there. And one of the ways that I got started very quickly when I first started doing local marketing was we did a presentation, and we invited people who manage large groups that would probably want to have us come and speak to them. And from that, we wound up with 4 or 5 speaking engagements in the next 60 days, which all turned into business. And then you also want to list other strategic or alliance or referral partners on there that you would like to be introduced to. And whenever you do that, now you don't take the top 10 list and hand it out to people at a networking event. That's not what it's for. And you don't hand it out to every person that you meet with for a strategic alliance. Because if you meet with someone and they just don't get it and they're just talking all about them and all about how their service and product is the best thing that since sliced bread, and here's 20 business cards to go hand out to all your referrals, you probably don't even hand them a top 10 list, because you're probably not going to if they're that pushy and overbearing, then you probably don't want to be associated with your name associated with them maybe anyway. So you hand out the top 10 list whenever you feel that the other person that you're meeting with really gets it and would be someone who actually would refer business to you. So whenever it comes to strategic alliances, remember, you want to go through first and identify who they are. The complementary product or service, someone calling on the same prospects, movers and shakers. And what I want you to do right now is don't just gloss over this. Go ahead below the video down here and fill in who those people are for you right now. Go ahead and put them in there. Put a list of them. If you don't have that many, that's fine. But write these things down and put them on so that as you go about your business on a day-to-day basis of doing your prospecting, that these are the people that you're looking for. These are the people that you are, and when you set that intention and have that there, you'll find that you start to run into those types of people more and more. The same thing when you set the intentions whenever you go out or start doing prospecting meetings, or whether you're doing cold calling, setting the intention of who it is you're looking to talk to and what kind of the reception that you want them to have from them whenever you call. The more you set the intention, the more you start to have that happen. So that's how to handle strategic alliances. And the other thing is, at the end of the meeting, set a clear next step. We'll talk about that a little bit more, but set a clear next step as to when you're going to meet again. So this has been great. Let's go ahead and plan on meeting, and let's say in 60 days, let's go ahead and set a time on our calendar, and let's get together and just check on each other and see if there's what we're doing if we haven't gotten together beforehand. Make it now. If the other thing is, if they're not someone that you want to continue to deal with, the clear next step maybe, thank you, I appreciate that. If something comes up or I have a referral, I'll send it over to you, and that's fine. But if it's someone that you really connect with and they seem to connect with you, go ahead and set the times that you want to continue to meet. Maybe even set up a monthly meeting that you're going to meet with them, or a phone call to kind of go review and see if there's any way that you can help each other other than referrals. The strategic alliances, when you have them, they can turn into be some of the best marketing assets that you'll ever have. That's it. Go ahead right now, fill in those things below this video and get started looking for who the right strategic alliances are going to be for you in your area based on the products and services that you're providing.
Okay, in this module, we're going to go through all of the collateral that you have in place for a webinar and also for video sales letters, which are key components to just about any funnel out there. So to begin with, let's take a look. First thing I've provided for you is an actual recorded webinar. And you can take this, you can load it into the system immediately so that you have an automatic webinar that you can start sending people to as soon as you take this and plug it in. I didn't want you to have to wait and go through and create your own webinar or take the slides that I'm going to share with you in just a moment and record it first to be able to have it. I wanted you to have something so you could plug it in and use it immediately. So we went through and recorded this. The webinar is about 30 minutes long. It does a general local marketing overview and talks about all of the reasons that the local business owners must have local marketing in order to have a competitive advantage. It goes through, it starts off with here's how many searches Google has, then it digs in further into why local businesses are struggling. We got some facts in there from the Small Business Administration and why local businesses are going out of business, why there's more competition than ever, and why they need to have a competitive edge. And then we go into how they can gain that competitive edge utilizing the different aspects of local marketing. So you have that webinar in there ready to go. Now the other thing it is, I took that same thing, instead of starting off in this webinar, we're going to show you how local businesses are absolutely crushing it online. Well, the difference is the next one is I have it recorded as a sales video, and it starts with, in this video, I'm going to share how local businesses just like yours are absolutely crushing it online, and you can too. And you can take this video and you can put it on your iPad, you can put it on your laptop, you can put it on your iPhone or your Android for that matter, and take it and actually into an appointment. And if you don't feel comfortable going through and talking through the strategy session with them to begin with, you can actually just play this video. I've had people that have taken the video, gone in, played it for a dentist, and had the person sign up on the spot. So it's very powerful, and it does a great job of leading them to that next step, which is to talk to the person who's shown them the video and go through the strategy session so that they can give them the best solution to fit their business. And so you want to be able to have that. You can take it, put it on there again. You can record it yourself, but I wanted to have it so that you had something that's ready to roll, ready to plug in and take and utilize immediately. The next thing we have is I have it in here as a PowerPoint presentation for you so that you can go through and do a number of different things with that. One, if you do speaking engagements, you have the PowerPoint presentation to utilize. You can go through and take out the parts of it that you don't want to provide. You can add new stuff in there. There may be different things that I didn't cover that you can customize it. You can do whatever you want to with it. It's your presentation. And from that, you can also use it to re-record the recorded webinar. You can use it to re-record the sales video. Either way you want to do it, you have the presentation to use in a number of different ways. Also, I have given you a transcript of the presentation as well. You can take that, I've got it broken down slide by slide with exactly what's said, and you can actually take that and plug it into the notes section on the PowerPoint presentation so that you never get lost as you're going through either whether you're recording it or if you're giving the talk on a webinar or if you're giving the talk at a speaking engagement. You'll never have to worry about that because it's transcribed word for word for you. Next is I'll be providing you with the webinar success formula. And this is a formula that I have utilized and have utilized with clients with great success, walking them through this format. I think you'll see that it flows very naturally. And it's really basically, it's a fill in the blank template. And to go along with that, whether you're doing it for yourself or whether you're doing it for a client, there's actually a questionnaire that you go through and just answer the questions. And then you take the answers to the questions and you map it over to the actual webinar success formula transcript area. Gives you the framework for fleshing out the webinar script. So you have that, and then all you have to do is build your slides and you're ready to go. The next thing is I've given you the video sales letter success template. This walks through what they call the 3-act play or the hook, path, persuasion. It gives you all the different bases that you need to make sure you cover to have a complete message in front of your audience. I've also gone through and shown you exactly how to set everything up, what programs you need, the tools you need to be able to record the video sales letter, how to frame it, how to put it into PowerPoint, how to put it into Keynote, also then how to some tips on recording and also tips on editing, actually walking through the process of how you edit a video sales letter and some of the little things in there that most people don't realize and don't do, but you'll have that as well. So just this one module is worth the value of what you paid for the entire program with the assets that were provided here and also with the templates that you'll be able to take and utilize for yourself and for the clients that you're going to be setting webinars up for. So that's it. Let's take a look at the rest of the collateral and how you're going to use it. All right, so now we're going to look at the webinar success formula and the webinar success formula preparation sheet or questionnaire. And the thing is I don't want you to get in here and look at it and say, oh, I was going to do one by myself and this has a host and a guest and now I have to do a webinar with 2 people. The thing is that, yeah, it's written that way, but if you are alone, you can still do a webinar by yourself and just introduce yourself. I actually do a webinar on a weekly basis that was written to be a 2-person webinar, and I just had to go through and tweak it so that I introduce myself, I talk about my own credibility, and then you go through that. So the reason there's not 2 different templates is because it works the same way. You just introduce yourself and go through that for yourself rather than introducing. Now, if you have someone that can host, you can do that. Or if you're going to be doing this for one of your clients, you can actually be the host. what that will do is it will actually help them get the story out, and you can continue to engage with them. And whether you're doing it live or doing it recorded, you can go through and edit out any places where they skip around or somewhere where they have problems getting the message across. So if we go through here, if we start off with the introduction and edify guest, just meaning you want to boost them up and you pump the guest up. You talk about what the webinar is about, boost the celebrity of the guest, and then introduce them, who they are, what it's about, why you need to know this, then the benefits to stick through this, because there's going to be a bonus at the end. You want to always have that hook that, to give them the reason for staying till the end, because they have something that they're not going to want to miss. And also then you go through the credibility booster. Now the way this is set up is the host is going to share the 3 big promises. If you're doing it yourself, you go through the 3 big promises. So we go through the promises, and it maps over. You can, when you go through and fill this out, it actually works as a good worksheet. So even if you're doing the webinar on your own, still go through and figure these things out. And what it does with the story is, instead of it just being here, is it kind of goes through, there's a problem, this was what the failure was, here's the revelation I had, the solution, the hero comes in, and then the overcome the results and the proof that it worked. And you want to go through and do that for each one of these. So let's say that the problem was, I was working with a client and they had a great offer, they had a great service, but they just couldn't get enough business. And the problem was they were advertising in the yellow pages. When we went through and looked at it, and the revelation we had was he was spending a ton of money putting advertisements in the yellow pages, and his average clientele was probably around 30 to 35 years old. And we found that it's usually only people that are over 75 years of age that use the yellow pages. So what we did was we took his message and looked at ways of getting it in front of the target market, which is much more digital. And by doing that, we were able to set up an online web presence for them, so that they now have people not only finding them online, but also using their smartphones and coming straight to the front door of their business. So that's sort of how that story works. Now you want to kind of elaborate on it and go more in depth, but that's it. That's the problem, what was happening, what the failure was, figuring out, oh my gosh, wow, I could have had a V8. And then what the solution was, where the guest is going to be the hero of the solution. And then the overcome, here's what we did, here's the results, people are coming in the door now, and the proof is, look at all the people that have gone on and left a positive review on his Google Plus or on Yelp, or wherever whatever that positive result is for the story. And then you'll go through the rest of it, and it walks you through all of these pieces, and then you'll map them over to framing it out with this webinar success formula. And you'll go through the stories. I notice all my customers, clients basically have the same problems. That's why I wrote this book, created this product. And then so where can they get more information about that if they want to? And then they can send them to the offer page. And then you go into the story 2 and overcoming another major objection. Then finally the guest introduces, after story 3, the guest introduces the bonus, where they're stacking the cool, and they go the scarcity offer, the review, the one-on-one consult, limited availability, whatever that scarcity is for the offer, and then they go through the testimonials. You always want to get the offer in front of them so they're able to go take the action of buying the product or service before you go into the testimonials, because the people that want to buy are going to go ahead and go now and buy. They don't need to see the testimonials. They already know they need the product or service. The people that are waiting around, you want to get the link out there as soon as possible, then go into the testimonials. Results are not typical. Most people fail, that whole thing. Then you go through summarizing the offer, the features and benefits, line by line. You go through that. Now, the way you know the difference between a feature and a benefit is what this means to you is. So if you have a car and a car has a huge V8 engine, what this means to you is you'll never have to worry about getting up enough speed when you're passing someone on a 2-lane road. The benefit is not having to worry about passing someone on a 2-lane road because you have plenty of power. And so that's, if the way to look at it is always, if you can say what this means to you is, then that's the benefit. Then you go through the review of the promises, they go through the success stories, review the outcomes, and then then the host closes it out. Or if you're doing it yourself, you can close it out and take them back to the domain, the phone number, act quickly, and you wrap it. This whole thing is set up so that you can go through this until the typical webinar is going to last between 60 to 90 minutes. And the cool thing about a webinar is you have a higher conversion rate on that, because you're spending more intimate time with them, sharing information where they're actually absorbing it rather than just watching a video on a screen. So that's Webinar Success Formula. Go through, map it out. If you have any questions, you can hop on the coaching calls and we'll go through and answer anything that you have on that. But I know that you're going to find that this is so easy to walk through and basically fill in the blanks. Once you have the blanks filled in, then you'll be able to go through and look at the best way of building the slides. And remember, when you're building webinar slides, you don't have to clutter them with a bunch of stuff. Think about the webinar that you watched whenever you came into this program. Think about how those slides looked. They're very simple. They have a couple of images, and basically the story is told by the person talking, not by all of the words on the page. Keep that in mind. It's different than a video sales letter. Video sales letter has exactly the words on the page that are being said, where the webinar has the slides with images, a couple of bullets, so that it gets the point across and keeps the viewer engaged, and then changes to the next image as you go through those slides. So that's it. That's the webinar success formula. Can't wait to see what everybody puts together for themselves and for the businesses that you're going to be helping building out sales funnels. All right, so I wanted to talk a little bit about why use video sales letters. And video sales letters, a lot of times people try to clutter them up and make them really fancy, but one of the things that we have found is we've tried them all different ways, and I've worked with some of the biggest names in the industry when it comes to creating video sales letters. Most of you know I worked with Digital Marketer for a couple of years, and they basically invented the video sales letter. And the thing is that they invented the ugly video sales letter, or as we call it, sort of like the bouncing ball. If you think about it, it's sort of like karaoke. You know, with karaoke, the words come up on the screen so you can sing it. And the fact is that with the words on the screen, that's engaging the brain in a couple of different ways. One is it's engaging them visually, and it's also engaging them in an auditory manner as well. So they're seeing the words and they're hearing the words, so they're receiving the information with two different modalities. So there's more of a chance of it sticking and more of a chance of it keeping them engaged. And we go through and we use regular plain fonts. I'll go through and show all this in the next videos, exactly how to set all this up and how to do it. But I just wanted to show that these are it's just regular fonts, and you want to read it just like the words are on the page. And the reason for that is because they will follow along. And you want to do some very specific things. You want to make sure that the words on the page show up at the same time you're saying them, not before or after. Because whenever you do that, it kind of gives the brain a little hiccup and they disengage. And the disengaged mind always says no, so you want to keep them engaged and keep them moving through the sales letter. You want to, and like I said, in this case, this one is about 4 minutes long, and I'm going to give you this PowerPoint as well so that you can go through and record it for yourself if you want to. And for some reason, there's 2 of those slides in there, which doesn't really need to be. And so we go down to, go all the way, and then the rest of this you'll see is just regular words. Regular words on the page, and very, very simple. And the reason is because you want this, what happens is with this is it changes about every probably 10 to 15 seconds. The screen is changing, and that keeps them engaged. That keeps the eyes sort of seeing what's going to happen next. What is the next slide going to say? What are they going to do? You don't want to put too many words on the page, because when you do put too many words, you can read a lot faster than you can speak. And like for this slide, this is about the maximum amount of text you want to put on any slide, and it's only here because there's sort of like a disclaimer on here, and so it doesn't connect well if you have the disclaimer on the next page. So you always put a disclaimer for whatever it is on the same page. But as you'll see, most of it is, you can see the strategies I'll be sharing with you will put your message in front of purchase-driven consumers. You can say that just about as quick as they can read it. Then you go straight to the next one. At the exact moment they're actively looking for information about your products and services. I've put together 7 of the most effective marketing methods. So you see, it just, and this is a ton of words on a page as well, but it was a complete sentence, and so that's why I left that there. And you don't need to do a lot of motion graphics or anything. It's just regular words, and they just flip to the next one. There's no transitions. There's no fancy moving in and out. Because you have a program that does have transitions does not mean that you need to use transitions. So anyway, just keep it very simple and give them a couple of times. You want to have a couple of call to actions so they can go ahead and click it, and then tell them some more information about why they need to go ahead and take you up on this offer. In this case, I made it so that you usually charge $250 for a strategy session, so that it creates a value in their mind of the value they're going to be getting for signing up, and it will move them to more action if they feel like they're getting something that's normally charged for. Because the thing is you want to make it so that you're putting an offer in front of them that's going to appeal to their senses. If you say that you're going to offer them a free consultation reeks of sales call. A free strategy session, you're going to walk away with information that they can utilize in their business immediately. And you want to give them something that they can use in their business immediately as well, because what we've always found is if you give them great information, it's going to elevate your position in their mind, and you're already going to have the credibility because you're offering them a free report, actually the special report, and also you're going to give them the chance to get your book for free as well. So since you're an author, you already have that level of credibility, and it endears them to you because now you're offering them something that you normally charge for, and you're explaining why you're not charging for it. It's not free. You're waiving the fee right now. And actually, if you look at the language in here, it says for a limited time we'll pay that for you because we believe in what we do. So it's like it's still being paid, they're just not having to pay it. And the way you're paying it is you're paying it with your time that you're not being compensated for. So that's why it works out that way. I just want to go through and explain why I use video sales letters. You can actually use a video sales letter to prompt people to register for your webinar as well. So there's a number of different uses for them. As we go through this, you'll see more and more times where you can actually put this in place. And one of the things that you always want to try to do with a video sales letter is make it so that when someone lands on a page that it starts automatically, because that's going to get them engaged immediately and it's going to greatly reduce the bounce rate. So there you go. That's it for video sales letters. Below here, we go step by step through exactly how to create the slides, the positioning of the words on the page, how to record it, how to edit it, so that you have everything that you need for creating winning video sales letters. I've also given you the 3-step formula for walking through to make sure that you have all the bases covered as you're creating your video sales letter. So from the examples that you have, from the recordings of how to edit them, you have everything you need to go out there and make really world-class video sales letters that most people struggle with. And by doing this and following the instructions, it's going to put you head and shoulders above anyone else that's out there trying to do the same thing, because they don't have this level of authority helping them put these things together. I've done video sales letters not only for myself or products that I've done, but I've actually also crafted video sales letters for hundreds of different funnels and also recorded a lot of those as well, so because they give them the better chance for conversion. And you'll see as you go through the recording of how to do a video sales letter what those little nuances are that will make it so that it has a better chance of conversion, a better chance of them watching it than just going through it without having those little tricks up your sleeve. So you got the hacks in there, you got the tricks, you got exactly how to do it, how to get it done professionally so that you have a winning video sales letter. That's it. Let's go take a look at how you put this all together. So what we're going to talk about today is I'm going to go through and talk about how to put together a video sales letter, and how the aspects of what recording equipment to use, those types of things, as well as the fonts and what type of program to use, and then some tips on recording, and then also editing tips as we go through this. So as we start in looking at video sales letters, the reason that we use them, and you can make them fancy or you can make them plain, we found that actually the plain, as we call them, the ugly video sales letters, actually work better and convert better than video sales letters that have all types of graphics and that type of thing in them. So that's what I'm going to be sort of talking about as we go through here. So in looking at it and creating a video sales letter, the things to keep in mind are, first of all, are very simple. And there's some questions that we have to ask based on what type of systems do you use. The first thing, the key elements that you have to have is, are you using a Mac or are you using a PC? Now, I keep forgetting from time to time that there are people out there that still use PCs, because myself and just about everyone I know uses a Mac. It's funny, you used to, whenever you would go somewhere where people had computers, you would see Gateways and Dells and Sony Vios and all these different kind of computers. If you walk into a Starbucks today, you look around, 90% of the people in Starbucks that have a computer open, or even Panera Bread or anywhere that has Wi-Fi, you'll see that Apple logo over and over and over again. So it's like they are gaining rapid market share. I actually don't even own any Windows devices anymore. Everything I own, I've got 3 computers on my desk, and all 3 of them are Apple computers. I use an iPhone, I use an iPad, everything I use is Apple. But there are some people I know that still use Windows, and so if you're using a Windows machine, in order to create the video sales letter, you're going to want to use PowerPoint.
And if you're using a Mac, you'll be using Keynote. Now, the fact is that if you have a Mac, you may have Windows for Mac, which is great. You can use either one. But those who have a PC are not going to be able to use Keynote because they don't have Keynote for PC. And a lot of times I will use the default. I will default to PowerPoint on the things that I create. But Keynote is just, it does a lot of the same things as PowerPoint, but it has a little more versatility in how it does things and the way it creates images. And to me, there's a difference in the crispness of crispness of the images that are on the page. Now, if you're using a Windows machine and you're doing the screen recording, and some people say, well, you can do a recording inside of PowerPoint. Yeah, but it's a big pain in the ass. It's tough to do because you have to have your timing set perfectly. Whenever you're doing screen recording, if you're using a PC, I would suggest going ahead. Oh, before I get to that, if you don't have PowerPoint or Keynote, don't worry. You can use Google Docs and create the presentation as well. So if you go into Google Docs, there's a spot where you can. It's like basically, it's sort of like Word for Google, like Microsoft Office for Google Docs. You can create spreadsheets and documents and checklists, but also this the orange image there in the second one over from the left is presentation files. So you can make a presentation inside of Google Docs and export it, and it'll work just the same. Now to the recording side of things, whenever you're recording, if you're using a PC, you're going to want to use a software called Camtasia or Camtasia Studio. I think the latest version is 8 that they have out. And it will allow you to capture the screen recording, record your screen, and go through and edit it. If you're using a Mac, then you're going to be using ScreenFlow. Now, they do have Camtasia for Mac, but it's kind of ridiculous to have that because it's like Camtasia is kind of a difficult program to use, where ScreenFlow is super simple. And a little bit later, I'm going to actually go through some editing techniques of how to utilize ScreenFlow. And in theory, they sort of work the same, but ScreenFlow is just easier to use whenever you're going through and putting together the video sales letter. The other difference is the price of these things, because Camtasia is $2.99, but they do have a free trial, where ScreenFlow is $99 and also has a free trial. The big difference is the Camtasia free trial is a fully functioning free trial, so you don't have to feel like you have to run out and buy a Mac. You can download Camtasia Studio 8, and the 30-day trial is fully functioning. It doesn't watermark anything. It works just the same as if you paid $299 for it. I've had some clients that actually, using a PC, are able to download Camtasia, get their video sales letters done and edited for their phone, and get it up and running before ever having to pay for the software. ScreenFlow is only $99. They also have a free trial, but they're sort of rascals about it. With their free trial, you have to actually, it has a watermark on there whenever you export it, so you actually have to upgrade. But for 99 bucks, it is a very, very robust tool. So PC, you're going to be using PowerPoint and Camtasia. On Mac, you're going to be using Keynote and ScreenFlow, right? And so once you have that figured out, the next thing you're going to go into is looking at your audio. How are you going to be recording the information? Like right now, I use the microphone that's on the right-hand side is a Yeti. That's the one that I have on my desk. That's the one that this is being recorded with. I do almost all of my communications on a computer, even whenever I'm doing a GoToMeeting, whether it's GoToMeeting, GoToWebinar, even Skype. I typically use the microphone sitting on my desk just because it's easier to do that way. And I have a Yeti. Yetis are like 150 bucks. You can go with the Pro model, which the difference is it has the actual, instead of it just being a USB, or it actually has it where you can plug a regular type amplifier jack into the speaker and take it to a soundboard. The non-Pro version doesn't have that. It just has a USB connection. The Pro version, where it has black on it and has that. Now, a less expensive way to go is the Snowball, which is also made by Blue. Blue is the company that makes these microphones. The Snowball is around $49. And it's okay. It works fine. You can record with it. I just like the Yeti. And the funny thing is, I travel a lot, and when I travel and do webinars, now I get to the point where I have a headset that I take with me. But at one point, whenever I would travel, I would also not only do webinars, but I never knew when I was going to need to do a video sales letter or record something or do a video. So I would carry the Yeti microphone with me. And even when the Yeti is folded, if you take it, it'll swivel down. It looks like a bomb in your backpack. So if you do travel with it and you're doing carry-on luggage, expect to take a little bit of extra time when you get to the airport, because they're going to make you take that thing out and show it to them what it is. So that's just that part. Now, Blue is not the only manufacturer of microphones. I mean, they're just the ones that I prefer and have found that work best for me. There's tons of other ones. I know I have friends. This one over on the right-hand side over here, I forgot, I think it's made by Samsung. But anyway, there's tons of different microphones that you can utilize, and these are all USB-driven mics, and so there's no right or wrong one. I'm just showing you the ones that I've used successfully. And I've even used, to that point, if you don't want to go to this, if you want to be able to have a headset microphone that you can use that has a good quality, believe it or not, this little Microsoft LifeChat LX3000 headset, it has, the quality is pretty close to the Yeti or the Snowball, believe it or not. The headset's a little bulky, but the way the microphone is, and it's got that big sponge over it, it really actually has a decent sounding microphone for, it's the one Microsoft thing that I still own, is a headset like that I use. And look at that, it's Skype certified, so you can't go wrong with that. But the reason that you want to make sure that you have quality audio is your audio is more than 50% of the attraction of the video sales letter. If you have crappy audio, they're not going to stick around. If it's high-pitched, if it's got a hum, if it's got a buzz, they're not going to stick around. The audio is very critical in making sure that it's going to be something that they're going to stick around and watch. It's more important actually than the words on the page, although the words on the page can cause you to lose people as well. But first of all, the audio sounding rich and high quality is it shows that you have it's the level of professionalism whenever it comes to the video sales letters. I just got off of a strategy session with someone who has a video sales letter on their website, and there's no words to it, it's all music. And so it's hard to keep people's attention because they're having to do the reading. Whenever you have the video sales letter and you're saying the words that are on the page and it's moving quickly, it keeps them super engaged. So having the high quality audio is very important. The next is the layout. If you're using PowerPoint, you're going to go into page setup, you'll go under file, then it'll have down at the bottom, it'll say page setup. When you click on page setup, it'll open up this box, and you want to select show on screen 16 by 9. The width and the height, it'll fill that in for you automatically, but you want 16 by 9 because that's the standard viewer size on all video hosting sites now, is the 16 by 9. It used to be 4 by 3 back in the old days. Just in 4 by 3, if you think about it, it's like the old projector screens were all 4 by 3. And 16 by 9, obviously, is more landscape. Most laptop screens today, and like I have an iMac on my desk, a 27-inch iMac, I have a laptop, both of their screens are 16 by 9 in dimensions. So like right now I'm recording this, the full screen, and whenever I get through recording it, it'll be in that format. That's on PowerPoint. If you're using Keynote, then when you go in, you'll want to go to change theme, and when you go to change theme, it will give you the ability to choose standard or wide, and you're going to want to choose wide on that. If you choose standard, what's going to happen? It'll record fine, but whenever you go to upload it to your video hosting, whether it's on Vimeo or even if you're hosting on YouTube, it doesn't matter. It's going to put black bars on each side of it. It's going to put the black bars on the sides, and if you put it on a white background for your video sales letter, it's not going to look very good. So you want to make sure that your whole screen is filled in with white for the video sales letter. So 16 by 9 for PowerPoint, wide for Keynote, and in Google Docs it has the same thing. It gives you those dimensions as well, but you can't go wrong with 16 by 9. So now you have the layout of the slides. The next thing you want to look at is the fonts and the positioning on the slides. Now in PowerPoint, you want to go with Arial, around a 60-point font. And let me escape out of here and go over to a PowerPoint slide. If I open this up, this is a video sales letter that we have in place. And if you look, I go in here, click on any of these, and it shows me that it's Arial 36. Is that what I put on this? Yeah. It's Arial 36 on here, which is not correct, so that needs to be changed.
And sometimes it has to do with what size your screen is. So the main thing is, don't go. I had somebody that did let's say, do it at a 90-point font, and the way their settings were, it made it so that it was the 90-point font covered almost the whole page. Within reason, if your page size is different, you want to make sure that you have it where it's looking about this size on the page. If it's a few points off, it's not a big deal. But in this case, with this standard sizing, that's Arial 36, and as you notice, I go all the way through. I have Arial 36 all the way through. Now, if I go to a Keynote, now it's usually a 90-point font on Keynote. Why it's so much different? It just has to do with the size of the page that's created. But in any case, you want to go with a font that looks about this size on the page. If you go small, then depending on how it's rendered and how it's placed on the page, if you use a smaller font, it's going to be hard for people to read. So and you want to make sure that it's big enough that they can read, but yet you're still able to get enough relevant information on the page. And when it comes to positioning, you want to make sure that you want the text, and I'm going to kind of go through this here. Let me go back to play this. You want the text to stay centered and about the same level consistently through the video sales letter. The human mind gets confused very easily if there's not uniformity in the text on the page. When it bounces up and down, it gets very confusing, and the confused mind always says no. If you see that, I mean, your eyes are bouncing all over the place. You'd be surprised how many people I see that do video sales letter that just kind of put them sort of in the same page, as opposed to whenever you do it where it stays consistently. Keeping it consistent will keep the audience engaged, and an engaged audience has a much better chance of saying yes. You see how that stays on exactly the same level at exactly the same place all the way through? And you want to make sure that you do that, because if the eyes are bouncing around, and it's a little thin, also you want the text to always be centered, and you don't want it to go too close to the edges of the page. These all, I know, seem like little minute, minuscule things, but they are the things that make the difference in people sticking around and watching the video sales letter and people bouncing. So you want to keep these in mind as we go through this. And so you can see your eyes don't have to move on the page whenever you do this, but whenever you're going this far, your eyes are bouncing around, and the confused mind, it hurts your eyes, and you have to leave. And I'm going to talk about timing of things in a minute whenever I go through the editing. So, and if you have like one bold word, you can change the size of the font to where it actually stands out on the page because you want them to get the attention. The other thing is, don't overuse bolding or underlines. If you want to bold it or underline or change a word, make it it has to be done only a few times in order to be super impactful. So in this case, you'll notice I put engaged audience. I capitalized engaged and audience, but I didn't underline it and I didn't bold it. I just did that. Now, yes, I made it bigger because it's only one word on the page. So that's on the font. And when it comes to recording, this is very important as well, because if you're using one of those good microphones, like the Yeti or one of those other ones, people can hear very easily. And it happens to us all the time whenever we're on a webinar. People will forget that their microphone is unmuted or how sensitive their microphone is, and they'll start typing. And you can hear that very loudly on the way it feels. My microphone is right next to my keyboard. The other thing is, if you're clicking on your mouse, you can hear that as well. So you want to make sure when you're advancing the slides that you're clicking very lightly as you're doing that, or they're going to hear it on the video sales letter. That's the good and the bad part of having a sensitive microphone. The other part is you want to make sure that when you're recording, everyone in the house knows that you're recording and that they need to be quiet for just a little while. And the thing is, it takes, whenever you do a video sales letter, if it's a 20-minute video sales letter, it's probably going to take you about 30 minutes to record the thing, because you're going to stop, and there's going to be things that you have to stop and repeat because of the inflection and the way that you need to have it. So you're going to need to make sure that they're being very quiet. I go so far as I actually turn the air conditioning system in the house off while I'm recording, because I don't want it cycling on and off, because you can hear a noticeable hum depending on how close your microphone is to an air conditioner vent, or how close your office or the room is to the air handler unit. You can actually hear a hum. Like where my office is in my house, I'm directly beneath the air handler in the attic, and then the units for the outside units, the condenser units, are downstairs outside of my office, but I have a window in my office, and so I can actually pick that up. Now, a lot of times I have to stop if somebody's driving by with a motorcycle or a noisy truck. Then I kind of have to stop and wait for them to go by. Last week was like hell trying to record because there's only one lot left in the street that I live on, where they're building a house and they're putting a basement in, and they had jackhammers running like all day, busting up granite to put the basement in. So I had to do most of my recording at night last week. But make sure that you're eliminating all of those things that are going to be picked up by the microphone. Also, laundry. It seems like without fail, if I don't tell everybody in the house that I'm recording I need to keep it quiet, all of a sudden there will be time for somebody to start doing laundry. And the dryer, the washer usually aren't that bad because you're far enough away, but ours have audible beeps. We have these cabriolet, it's not cabriolet, but it's like that these fancy glass top loading washers, and dryer, they make all these beeping sounds, and so those have to be turned off because the beep is definitely audible. And downstairs we have dogs. If somebody comes to the door, they raise complete heck. And we also have a bird down there. And a lot of times I have to take the bird and put the bird in another room downstairs that has a door to it, so that you can't hear a bird chirping in the background if I'm recording a video sales letter. It doesn't seem like those are big things, but they are all little things that can cause distractions whenever people are listening and watching your video sales letter. So make sure that you have all of those things done. The other thing whenever it comes to recording is your physiology they can sort of pick up on your physiology, believe it or not, based on your tonality. So like right now, everyone, I'm doing a webinar, I'm not laying back in my chair and relaxed. I'm actually sitting up with my back off the chair in an upright position as I'm talking. And what you want to do is you want to take it and you want to turn it up to an 11. I'm sure a lot of you remember in the movie, Final Tap. Turn it up to an 11. But what's the magic? Isn't 10 loud enough? No, there's an 11. Right, so you want to take the volume and ratchet it up a notch more, not necessarily your volume of your voice, but your energy level. You want to amp it up a little bit so that it comes across. I did one last week, and I thought my energy level was good, and I listened to it, and I wound up re-recording the entire thing. And I'll kind of go through it just like this. Could your sales funnel leak $55,000 per month, and your accountant finds out a whole year later? Crazy talk, I know, but that's exactly what happened. Two guys, both making $10,000 a month. First one does $34,000 by the end of the year. The second one does $89,000. So that's how I recorded it the first time, and I listened to it, and it's like, I felt that was pretty good. But as I listened to it, it's like, you have to be twice as animated as you think you need to be in order for it to come across. So when I redid it, it sounded more like this. Could your sales funnel leak $55,000 a month and your accountant not find out for a whole year later? Crazy talk, I know, but that's exactly what happened. Two guys, both making $10,000 a month. First one does $34,000. The second one does $89,000. Garbage, if you ask me. See, it's over animated, but that's sort of what you have to do in order for it to come across and sound like something that's going to keep someone engaged. And it takes a while to be able to be comfortable doing that because you think to begin with that you sound salesy and hypey, but I can promise you that you don't. And I used to do this same with my clients from my local marketing business. I did a ton of video stuff, and we would have them come in and we would shoot the videos for them, and then before they left, we would give them an envelope that was sealed and told them that they can't open the envelope until after they have watched their videos and after we have had a conversation with them before they could open the envelope. And so we would shoot their videos, we would edit them, and they would be fine. Because we wouldn't let them leave without having captured enough information and captured enough footage in order to know that we could produce very good videos for them. They would leave, and we would send over the links to the videos, and we'd call them up and say, okay, you got the video, so what do you think? And they were like, you know what, I like it all, it looks really great. The only thing I don't like is I don't like the way I look, or I don't like the way I sound. I'm like, okay. And so, well, the thing is you look fine and you sound fine. And we know this because we're super critical of ourselves as well. So now the red envelope, have you opened it? No. I said, okay, well, do you have it with you? Yeah, it's here. It's in my backpack or it's in the drawer. They stop and they get it. I said, okay, so go ahead and open it. And what does it say? And it says, you will like everything about your videos except yourself, how you look and how you sound. Without fail, we never failed to give it to anyone. And just to tell them that we knew ahead of time that that's what they were going to say, because that's what we all say. And the fact is that nobody sees it. So if you feel like you're sounding a little bit hypey, get over it. You're going to have to do that in order for them to actually, for it to come across the way that it needs to in order to keep them engaged. Because if you just do it the way you think you're having a normal, educated conversation, it's going to drag, and they're going to lose interest, and they're going to leave. Right? So you want it to be like the other thing is be like the Energizer Bunny. Keep going and going. I can't tell you how many times whenever I've recorded a video sales letter that it starts off really good, and then I go back and I have to fix something in the middle. Now it should be easy because I'm using the same computer, I'm using the same microphone, I've got the same voice, but I have to listen to it in order to match the tonality, because if I go along and I change something, it's like, so the next thing you want to do is you want to make sure that you're looking at how you double your revenue. Because when you double your revenue, you kind of match the tonality. But if you stay in that position, you stay moving through the tonality the same way all the way through the thing, it's tough to do for 10 to 20 minutes, but it makes it a lot easier for you whenever you're editing. And if you have to go back and re-record something, it makes it easier for you to insert that. So you want to be kind of like the Energizer Bunny and keep going and going and going and going and keeping your energy level at the same pace so that you can go all the way through that. It's not easy, but it's what you're going to need to do in order to keep people engaged all the way through the sales funnel. So the next thing is an editing tips, and I'm going to go through and I'm actually going to record several pages of a video sales letter, and then I'm going to go into the recording and I'm going to show you how I edit it. Now, what this is, if you look at it, these are the actual cuts that I do on any typical video sales letter. And sometimes, as you can see over on the left-hand side at the bottom of the screen, back on this page without it, down at the bottom left, I cut them up a lot in places because I want the flow to be exactly perfect. Now, and a lot of times what I'm cutting out here is I'm cutting out breaths, or I'm making sure that the timing of the slide is right, because if you put the words on the page before you start saying them, it throws people's brains off. If you start saying the words before they can see them on the screen, that throws it off as well. So there's sort of like this borderline in between you finishing the sentence of the one page, the image shows up an instant before you start saying the words that are on that page in order to keep them engaged. And I'm going to kind of go through and do that with the example. I'm just going to go through and record several pages from a video sales letter that I have for one of our offers, and then go in and show you what editing looks like inside. Now, and editing can make and break. Now, I've seen a lot of people that have done video sales letters, and then they go through and they send it over with just like they try to do it in one take without any cuts in the middle. And I'll just go ahead and let you know that's impossible. I know some people don't believe in the word impossible. I learned that from Napoleon Hill, that nothing is impossible, but it's not very likely, it may not be impossible, but it's not very likely that you're going to be able to record your video sales letter complete all the way through without having to go in and do any editing to it. So that's why it's just as important not only to show you all of the things that you need to do to be set up for success, but also show you what you need to do in order to be able to edit the video sales letter so that it flows properly. So if I go over here, I'm going to pop out of this page real quick and find one here I want to look at. This card. All right, so I'm going to click here and I'm going to click Configure Recording. And this is going to ask me if I want to record the video from my camera. I don't want to record the video from my camera. If I want to record audio from my Yeti, yes. And I want to record the desktop of my iMac. And so I go in here. It's got you can change these settings. If I want to record from a different one, I could use the Plantronics headset that I have connected as well, the built-in microphone, the built-in input. I don't want to do that. I want to use the Yeti microphone. And I hit record. And it gives me a few seconds to get ready to record, right? And then I'm going to play this from right here. So make sure that shows up on your screen right. Cool. So actually, I have to get this off my screen. See, the cool thing is it doesn't have to be perfect because I can edit this out. First, let's talk about not using, oh, sorry, again, my tonality is wrong. First, let's talk about how not using an exponential sales funnel might cost you business. See, start again. First, let's talk about how not using an exponential sales funnel might cost your business $50,000 a month. 2 years ago, 2 startups got launched on the same day. Both companies were a lot like each other. Both got launched by Stanford grads. Both grads had 3.5 plus GPA scores. Both worked 10 hours a week, both worked 10 hours a day, 6 days a week. And both of them, not too long ago, went to a marketing conference. All the top dogs were there. The Evan Pagans, the Dan Kennedys, the Andy Jenkins. The conference was the exact same conference they both went to just 2 years before. Now, both of the founders were still a lot like each other. Both were still building their business. Both were building teams they could trust, but there was a difference. One of them sat down in the front row of the conference, excited to take notes, while the other one stood on stage, being introduced as the keynote speaker. So what happened? They got the same grades, they put in the same hours, they had the same ambition, so what gives? All right, I think that's enough. So I'm going to escape out of here, come in, and hit stop record. Now it's going to give me the option to create a new document, which I'm going to. I don't want to add this to any of my other documents. So now if you did have to add to one of your documents, if you're just doing a change in the middle, you could click add to document and it would give you the ones that you have open right now that you could add it to. But I don't want to do that. I want to create a new document, hit open, and it shows me my recording, right? And so I'm going to expand this up. I'm going to expand this so that you can see it better, and now we're going to go through and edit. Now the thing is, when I do this, I'm going to change this from my headset to the microphone, so hopefully it doesn't create too much of a delay whenever I do this, so that you can actually see how I'm doing editing. And I promise this won't be too painful. Change my sound to internal speakers. Here we go. And so to begin with, I know that I made some mess ups at the beginning, and so I want to get through here. So the cool thing is, it doesn't have to be perfect. No, I don't want that. First, let's talk about not using this. Right? No, again, my tonality is wrong. I don't know if I see it on me. First, let's talk. There we go. I know this is where I started. So there's a full 27 seconds of information I can get rid of. Now, the way that this works, you're not going to be able to see what I'm doing, but the way that ScreenFlow works is I can do a couple of things. I can split the clip here and delete, but I know that I can just push W, which means to erase everything before the scrubber. Hit W, and it takes that out. Then I take my timeline and I shift it all the way over here. And now I go through and start again. Let's talk about how not using an exponential sales funnel might cost your business $50,000 a month. Now you see that pause in between there? I don't like that pause. So I stop here. I do Command-Shift-T, which splits the clip. Select both of these, and I get rid of my breath in between. And then I hit W again, and I scoot it over. Hold on. There we go. And it bumps right up there. So now it sounds like this. $1,000 a month. 2 years ago, 2 startups. See, you don't notice that I don't take a breath, and it keeps it moving along. It's got launched on the same day. Both companies the same day. Do you hear how I heard that click? I can't do anything about it because I was still talking when I hit the click. But I can get rid of the breath in between. Get my little beach ball to catch up here. Come on. So now I get rid of that breath. Both companies were a lot like each other. Both got launched by Stanford grads. Both grads had 3.5 plus GPA scores. Now see, I kind of stumbled there, so I would probably go back and re-record that piece. Both worked 10 hours a week. Both worked 6 scores. See, I know where I messed up, so I split the clip. Both worked 10 hours a week. 6. I go to there, scoot it over, and I do this. I mean, you saw all those cuts that I made in that one video sales letter. I do this with everything I record. Both worked 10 hours a day, 6 days a week, and both of them, not too long ago, went to a marketing conference. Now, I want to get rid of the breath there because it's a long. Sometimes you want to have a little bit of a pause in there, but whenever it's conference, all the You had the Pagans, the Dan Kennedys, the Andy Jenkins. The conference was the exact same conference they both went to just 2 years before. Now, both of the founders were still a lot like each other. Both were still building the business. Both were building teams they could trust, but there was a difference. One of them sat down in the front row of the conference, excited to take notes, while the other one stood on stage, being introduced as the keynote speaker. I don't really like that long pause, so I'm going to get rid of that in between there. The one stood on stage, being introduced as the keynote speaker. So what happened? They got the same grades, they put in the same hours, they had the same ambition, so what gives? And I know that's where I decided it's enough. I can stop there, and I can hit the, is that actually, yeah, I think that's enough. So what gives? And I hit E, and it takes it all the way out. Now, if something happened and I saw that I wanted this to go a little bit further, you don't have to cut each individual piece each time. You can, if I know I wanted to like change this slide, I can go in here and hit, get a little closer over here, take notes, while the other one stood on stage, being introduced as the keynote speaker. Excited to take notes. Now, let's say that I didn't want that to show up immediately. I could just, hit there, hit W, and then I can do this really cool thing where I can actually extend this thing by do Control-Shift-F and go back over to this piece, hit the End key. I know it gets to be cumbersome, but I could take notes, while the other one stood on stage, being introduced as the keynote speaker. So what happened? They got the same. Now again, I don't like that pause, so I can get rid of my breath. Oops, gotta come back to here. What happened? They got the same. And you don't really notice that there's no breaths in between. So whenever you come back and do that again, and listen to it again, I'm not going to go through make you listen to the whole minute, but it really, when I go through here and I hit export, it will show me this 1280 by 720. That is 16 by 9 because it took up the whole screen. Now, one thing I don't like and what I would not do here is hit cancel. You see I've got this GoToWebinar control panel over here. This normally isn't going to be there because I'm not going to be recording it while I'm on a webinar. So you can, if you wanted to, I could go in and put a text block in here and cover that. Let me just show you how I would do that, just so you have it. So if I would come in here and do text and add a text box, I would want it to be there the whole time, right, because it covers the whole area. And I'd come up here and make it a little bigger. I'll cover it. Let's see. That will. And I will just make the background color white. Over there. And it's still showing up a little bit there, so what I have to do, this be an opacity, outline, margin. Take care of the margin. And outline. I don't know why it's not giving me the full. Text is solid white. Oh, there it is, opacity, 100. Boom. Now it covers it up completely, and it's covered up the whole way. So you don't have to worry about this little fuzzy part sticking on the side over here, but no one will ever see that. Now it's there, the text box is there the whole way. And of course I get the spinny beach ball. Come on. All the top dogs were there. As you can see, you can't see it over here. And when it exports, you don't see the little, it just gives you it only exports what's in the dotted lines. So, and if you wanted to add a text box, you can do that. Now let's say that you're coming through here and while the other one stood on stage.
And let's say you did record it and this part right here was a little bit louder. So let me go through and let me show you what would happen if I did that. Let me go here, add the recording, record, go back to that keynote. So what gives? Right here, stop record, and I'm going to add it to this Untitled 3, which I'm working on, and I can take this, I drag it down, and now I don't need that part, I just need the voice. But as you can see, so what gives? Wow, that's really loud. I can just get rid of that. So what gives? When you click off of this and click back, it'll actually show you what's there. I'm over here, so where's the what gives? While the other one stood on stage, being introduced as the keynote speaker. So what happened? They've got the same grades, they put in the same hours, they have the same ambition, so what gives? Alright, so I know I'm going to want to get rid of that. I'm going to put this up here. Now if you listen to it, it sounds horrible. They have the same ambition, so what gives? Well, you don't have to re-record it again. All you got to do is come up here and select select the little sound box there, and take it down to about 50%. The same ambition, so what gives? Still a little bit loud. Take it down even more. Take it down to 30%. Because they have the same ambition, so what gives? So what gives? It's not perfect, but you're beginning to see. I mean, usually it's not that distorted. So what gives? It's not that distorted, but that's how you can go back and put the different things that you need in. If you have a slide that's messed up, you say it right, but let's say it's so what gives, and it needs to be and say it was going to be so then what gives. You just come over here, you go back to the keynote. So what gives, put in so then what gives. Control Shift 4 let you do a screenshot. Screenshot it. Come back to your keynote. Not keynote, ScreenFlow. I love ScreenFlow because it's just so easy. Go to my desktop. Where does it go? Has to be that memory thing. Finder. Desktop. There it is. Come on. I take this, bring it down here. I know it's at the very end. Same ambition, but yeah. Ambition. Go back, you can go to your arrow back until it disappears. Hit end. Put your screenshot in. You can select all three, or this one and this one. Hit end. Brings them all together. And now, it's too big. No problem. You just stretch it to fit. And it looks the same size as the other text. And that's it. There you got it. So that's just some of the quick and easy little things you can do for editing your video sales letter. It's keeping the font to the same size, keeping it at the same place. And if you want to know how to keep it at the same place, I'll show you this on Keynote. Whenever you select this, when you go to move it, it gives you the crosshairs, and I usually keep mine at 320. So if I go there, if I come up here, guess what? It's at, you guessed it, 320. If I go here, where's it at? You guessed it, 320. Right? I mean, it's when I'm talking about 320, it's on the y-axis, and there's not a lot of difference between 320, 315, and 325, but I usually keep mine on the axis of about 320 because you tend to look at the top, towards the top of the page rather than in the middle, and that way, whenever you start to write information down the page, your eyes are starting at the same place every time. So whenever the next page comes up, your eyes go to the same place. So all the way through here, your eyes are staying at the same place all the way through the thing. Over here it doesn't because of the picture, but all the way through, your eyes don't bounce up and down the page. They do a little bit when you have to put spacing in, but for the most part, And even you can put graphs in, get this to catch up. If you have a reason to put images or graphs in, you can do so, but do so sparingly. I mean, if you look at this whole video sales letter, this is one that's got 281 slides. This video sales letter is about, I want to say it's 8 minutes long with 281 slides. Actually, no, this one's 13 minutes long. But again, as you go through here, it stays at the same level. Your eyes aren't bouncing around. They're staying pretty consistent all the way through. So keep that in mind as you're putting it together.
All right, in this video we're going to go over the local marketing tripwire funnel, and this is the standard funnel that you would bring people into that are going to be finding you online, or if you bring them to this with paid traffic. So they'll come into the lead capture form, and we'll go through that video in just a second and walking you through exactly how to set this up so that you can capture their name and email, and also give them the opportunity to apply for a strategy session right here on this page. From there, after they do that, whenever they opt in for the free report, then they will come over to the tripwire. And this tripwire, you can do a number of different things. You can offer them a video for $7 or $27 or $37, whatever it costs you for your hard cost for the video. If you don't have a video product to offer, you can make an easy video with like Animoto or something like that for an explainer video for them. And after they have the video done, they'll go to the PayPal order form. You can set that up. Anybody can have a PayPal account and collect money online using PayPal. And there's a button that you can put right on the mobile builder that I'm going to show you. And then from there, after they do that, you'll want to have it redirect to the upsell page. And the upsell page, you can take them to a video sales letter and then take them to ranking the video for $197. And in another section, I give you the step-by-step instructions for how to get a video ranked. And you can look at that depending on how competitive it is. You may want to make it $197, $297, because there's a little bit of cost in getting a video ranked, but it's not horrible. So you can play around with what you want that upsell to be. I'm just putting these here for examples for you. Then after they buy that, then it takes them to the thank you page and tells them exactly how they're going to go about getting everything that they've just ordered. Now, you can also a mobile responsive website. From that, it costs you $60 because it's $5 a month for the site itself. So you can charge $97 and still recoup your lost cost there. Because the whole thing with a tripwire is this is not to make money. This is to pay for your paid traffic and give you some money in order to bring new traffic into the funnel. But it's mainly we look at it as a liquidation offer, and that is if you break even here, you're doing okay because you're going to make your money on the upsell whenever you take them to the video and say, great, now that you have a mobile responsive website, what you really need to do is get that website ranked. And the way we can do that is we can give you an SEO package where we can go through, do everything we need to do to get it optimized so that it'll start showing up in the search engines. And then from there, takes them to the thank you page after they order that. So the next thing is, let's say that you don't have either one of those. You can offer them a customized online presence analysis, and you can get those through the outsource team, or you can go to like localsitesubmit.com. They have a 30-day trial, they'll do them for free, and then it's like $1 a report after that or something. But it shows their analysis of them compared to the other businesses that are close to them. And so you can charge them $7 or $27 for that custom report. And then the upsell would be, then now that we've looked at the custom report, what you really need no matter what is you need to have local buzz. So you can take them and sell them on the advantages of having local buzz to get their information found when everyone's looking for them on their mobile device on apps. So that would be the upsell there. And again, then to the thank you page. So as we go through this, we're going to first talk about building lead capture form, and then we're going to look at the tripwire and upsell pages are really the same. You're just changing out the video on that, and then the thank you page will be another page with a video on there just saying thank you and explaining how they're going to be able to take it, how they're going to be able to get what they've just bought. And with this, the end game is not just that upsell. That's not where it stops. Is to continue to sell them more services and actually get them into a full-blown strategy session so that you can then walk them through a complete overwhelming online presence and maximize the amount of profits that you make from bringing them into your funnel. Because whenever they take their credit card out, they put you in a position of being an authority and allow you to then start actually prescribing what they should do next, and you'll become the go-to person for all of their marketing needs. That's what we're really doing here. So that's it for this section. Now let's go ahead and look at what we need to do to build these pages and tie it all together. All right, so now that we know the flow of how the funnel works, going from the lead magnet to the tripwire to the upsell, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go through and actually build the pages that you're going to be using for your funnel. And also, because you have this builder, you can do this for any of your clients as well. And I'm going to go through and kind of show you exactly how this works. Now, whenever you come in here, you can start from scratch. You can use any of the existing templates, but I've actually had a template created that lends itself to being a lead capture page. So let's go ahead and take a look. Let's go in here to edit pages. And there's already some built here, but we're going to, when you first come in, it'll be brand new, and you just hit create new. And we're going to call this, let's just call this landing home. And then we'll come down here and call it landing home, because we're going to make it the home page, and we're going to do a responsive page. Now when you come in here, you want to go to landing page template. I'm not sure whenever you go into yours, this new lander probably won't be here. I've changed the spacing. So we're going to select this one, and we're going to hit create. And it will open up the page for us. Now, I've got the spacing set in here so that if you mess with it, it'll kind of move things around. And I'm not going to go through all of the settings on how to do that, because they have great tutorials that you can come over here to support and go in, and it'll show you all the tutorials on how you can move things around. But I've got everything set. The first thing you're going to want to do when you come in here is notice that things are in rows, containers, and then widgets. And so, like for instance, this is a row where it says local funnel formula here. It's a row, but it's also the container has the logo and has this about us, our services, and contact us. This next section down here is also a container where it's got these rounded edges, and it's got the video, the lead capture form, the button for scheduling a strategy session, and the image of local marketing secrets. Now down here is, I just put this in here as local funnel formula positions you, and you see there's it says positions, so we can go in and I'll show you how to change that in just a minute. And then I've just selected the standard footer, the services, about us, contact us, and then you've got the you got the buttons down here for social media that you can go in and edit, and then the phone number down at the bottom. So what you're going to want to do first of all is you can leave this with the video that I've put in here. There's a custom HTML field here, so that I did that so that it gives you the ability for the video to automatically play, and it had to get the company to custom code it so that it would work on here, because before it wouldn't start automatically. So what you would do if you have your video that you record that you want to replace and put in here, you would come in and edit the widget, and you would go to right here to this little toolbar. And when it does, it opens up the custom HTML. And what you would do is you would come down here and you would replace that much right there of the code, and you get that off of where it says youtube.com on the video that you'll be putting in here. And that's the only piece that you'll change out, and it will change the video over. You want to leave all of the rest of the spacing alone, because it's got the padding in there the way it needs to be to fit into the space, and so that it will be responsive on a mobile device as well. So that's the only way to get that to work that way. So just if all you do is change out the code, and there's also a document down below here that also walks you through exactly how to do this as well. So we're going to go ahead and hit cancel on that, because we're not going to change it right now. If we go up here, you want to change the logo, which I strongly suggest that you do. That's going to be in the widget. So we go over here again to the little toolbar, and it opens up and it shows you the logo is right here. All you do to change the logo out is click that, and then go and you want to click here to go to the logo, and you'll go find yours, and you'll browse and upload it here. And when it does that, it won't be in these custom logos. It will be the account library. You'll be able to find your images down here. So we'll go ahead and put this back in here for now. Hit select, and you have the about us, our services, and contact us. That's the way the spacing is about the way you want to leave it. I'll show you the other trick with spacing. And you can put icons in here if you want to. All you do is click in here, and if you want to go to look for something that's about us, don't really know what that icon would be right off that, but you can put that in here. When you cancel, if you want to have the contact us, or you can put the little email symbol, but it's up to you what you want to put in here, and if you want to put icons in or not. If you do that, let me just do one so you can see what that would look like. And let's just choose, let's see, since we got that sort of brownish color,
Let's go with something that's going to stand out. Let's click this one, select, and save. And you'll see it put the little logo up here under Contact Us. Without the logo, it stays spaced correctly. So if we go back in to edit the widget, so if you want to get rid of the icon, you come over here to the little edit button, push edit, and you just push the red X on the icon, hit save. Now the other thing is you want to go in here to on the Contact Us and link it to, if you're going to, you can create a Contact Us page, and you would go in here and link that. And what you would do is just go down here to page, and it will show you the different pages that you have available for your site, and I'll cover that up in just a second. But now I'm going to go back to link to this later and hit save and save. That puts us back to where we were at. Now, like I said, you're going to leave the video alone except for changing the one thing. Then over here you have the lead capture form, and what you'll do here is go down to edit the widget, and that'll open up, and you can change this wording to whatever you want. I've got free report reveals how local businesses are crushing online, and then the message after the form is submitted, thank you, your message has been sent. I would say thank you, your has been sent, your special report has been sent. And then what you want to do, you can have them do the email submission and send autoresponder, but what I would suggest doing here is you want to come in here and you want to integrate with your third-party integrations. So you just come in here and click add, and it will open up and it will show you the different CRM/autoresponders that it connects with. You got Aweber, Constant Contact, Exact Target, HighRise, Lime Cellular, MailChimp, Salesforce, and Zoho. So you can click on the instructions for any one of these that will walk you through that. It will show you the configure, and it also talks about the different ones. So if you haven't selected one, you can kind of go through here and see which one you will like to work with most. So for now, I'm going to X out of here. I'm going to go back over to where we were at. And so that's where you would go in and add the integration. Then the other thing you can do is you can change these form fields. I feel strongly that first name and email is going to get you more opt-ins than trying to put first name, last name, email, phone number, and all those things. So you can change it to whatever you want to, and all you would do is click add. So if you wanted to add a phone number, let's come down here and do phone, and you would put name, phone, and phone, and add. So there you go, that's what you would do. But we don't want to do that, so we're going to X out of here. Do you want to delete this field? Yes, we want to delete it, and click save. Now if we go back in here again, I do want to show you one other thing, and this is very important. Let me go back into the tools here. And what you're going to want to do is with this, after the form is submitted, redirect the visitor to, and you're going to want to click page. And you're going to want to already have these set up, because this is going to go to your tripwire, which is going to be your low-end first-end offer. And so we'll be selecting that, and I'll come back and show you that in just a little bit. But anyway, so just remember, in this section, once they fill out the name and the email to get the free report, you want to take them immediately to the upsell or the tripwire, so that they're going to be taking out the credit card and giving you money immediately after they go through the video sales letter, right? So let's go ahead and hit cancel on all this, because we didn't really change anything. The next section here is schedule your strategy session today, and there's a section beneath here where I go through Calendly and how to do that. But let me just show you where this is at real quick. And you go in here and you'll be putting in the link for your Calendly calendar. So when they click on that, it will go immediately and schedule with them. So let's say that you don't like the little talk bubble icon. If you just want to change that out, let's go to one that has, let's see what we have here. Let's say we want to put the telephone in there instead. And we hit select, and we hit save, and it puts the telephone there, right? So that's all you need to do to change here. You can get rid of this bar here. I just think it's a great place for you to put information in about your business. And so to do that, you simply come in here to the little wrench, and this is where you edit it. It gives you the WYSIWYG tool up here for changing the text. Go ahead and hit cancel on that. And then the settings over here, this is really for you you can set the background colors, and you can also set small screen, large screen, but this is already set so that it works on both large and small. If you want to dig deeper into that, you can go into the tutorials and see how to do that. It took me a little while to get this thing set the way it is, so I would just kind of sort of leave it alone unless you're really techie and want to go through here and kind of move things around, because it takes a little bit of work to get things balanced out on these pages. And so I'm going to go ahead and hit cancel here. And then the bottom is just regular editing. You can put in your services, about us, contact us, and you can put your links into your social media, or you can take it out, right? And then you have the phone number down here at the bottom. So that's what it takes in order to set up the page. And so let's go ahead and save this. And we're going to go ahead and now publish it so that it will make it live. So here's the domain up here. It's lff.mdom.mobi/landing page. So if we go take a look at it, you'll see that the video will autoplay.
It's a fact that local businesses are seeing more and more competition for customers.
And you can click there and stop it. This is schedule a strategy session. So yes, send me the free report. And over here, if you go to click this, you'll see that it will take you over to a calendar setting so you can schedule an appointment. And I go through the video of how to set all of this up for you down below here. Let me go back out of here. And let's say that you don't like this yellow color. I like it more to be a more gradient. This yellow looks kind of flat and kind of bland. So if you want to change that, let's go back over and let's show you how to do that. So what you would do is you would actually come in to the settings here, the little paintbrush, and go down to the bottom where it says Form Submit Button Styles. And you would change the gradient right here. Change it, it's a solid color now. You go up here and change that to gradient. And let's pick I like the yellow because it's sort of like the Belcher button that I'm used to having used before. And that's the top color. Select, and you see it makes it gray. That's kind of ugly. So now we're going to move this to a more of an orangish color, like this. There we go. And hit select, and then hit select again, and hit save. And then we hit save again. And now it sort of gives it that definition. It makes it look a little better on the page. So that's it. There you go. It's this image back here, you can scroll up and down here, and the image in the back will change as well. You can put whatever image you want in the back of it. It's up to you. Now let's take a look at what this will look like on a small screen. And this is the video will play automatically. It doesn't show up in the previewer, but on the phone it does play. Then free report reveals how local business are crushing online. Put their information in. You'll have to go in and change the colors for small screen here if you want to. Then the book, register for your strategy session, and then the rest of the information. It kind of stacks it. It's out of order a little bit, but this is how it has to be in order for it to show up properly on the big screen, which is where most of the people are going to be viewing it. So there you go. That's how to set up your landing page. There's also instructions in here in the tutorials for how you can do a redirect from a regular domain. So let's say that you're in Atlanta and you're going to be working to get dentist, and you could just say you have atlantadentalmarketing.com or atlantadentalleads.com. You can redirect that domain to this page, and there's instructions in the training to show you how to do that. It's in the tutorials here, which walks you exactly through how to set that up with your redirects on your DNS servers. So now we're going to go back. Now we're going to go in and look at setting up the pages so that you can have a tripwire and an upsell to get, so you have people go ahead and start giving you money, or then also scheduling a strategy session with you. So let's go take a look at that now. In this video, we're going to look at making the tripwire page, the upsell page, and the thank you page. And it's really simple because they're all exactly the same kind of page. The only thing you have to change is the video and the action that's taken whenever they click the button. So let's go ahead and take a look at how this goes together. We come back into our dashboard and we're going to create a new page. So we hit create new, and we're going to call this the tripwire. And we'll name it the same thing down here, tripwire. And it's going to be a responsive page, and we're going to select the landing template again. Select here and create. And you'll see that you'll use this same template every time because you just have to change a couple of things. Now what we're going to do here is we're going to eliminate 3 of the elements here. And so we're going to get rid of the opt-in widget. We're going to say OK. We're going to get rid of the scheduling the call. Click OK. And we're going to get rid of the image of the book and click OK. We don't really need this up here. We want it to go straight into the click OK. We want to go straight into the page, and we also want to get rid of this container. We don't really need the row anymore. So OK. So now all we have left here is our video at this point. And the way you go in and change that, I showed you on the last one, is you'll go in here to the settings and you'll change out this code that comes with the video. And there's a document down below here that shows how to do that as well.
You just go in and change that part to change the video to the video for your video sales letter here for selling them on whether it's going to be a video or a mobile website or a customized online presence report. So remember with this, they've just opted in for the free report, and now you're taking them to this page to get their attention, and it's going to say, the video is going to say, "Thank you. The report is on its way to your inbox." Now watch this important announcement. One of the things that we have found in working with local businesses is right now things are changing with Google, and what used to rank will no longer rank very shortly. So what you need to do is make sure that you have a mobile responsive site, because it's what you're going to need to have in order to have a competitive advantage in your industry, in your area. And then you go into the offer from that. If it's about the video, you go into the same thing. "Thank you. The report's on its way to your inbox." Now watch this special announcement. One of the most effective ways to get in front of your audiences is with a video. And not only is video very impactful, but people are entertained with it. Think about this. What would people normally rather do? Read a book or watch a movie? Well, I think you get the point. And then you go into why they need to have a video. If it's about the local presence report, say, it's getting harder and harder to get customers these days. And one of the things that you need to know is, where do you stand against the competition? Unfortunately, most business owners don't know how to go about getting that information. But we have some good news for you. We have a customized online presence report that will go in, we'll do an analysis exactly of your business, it's specific to your business, and compares you against the next 2 closest competitors in your area, and gives you a grade of how you're doing compared to the industry average, as well as compared to to your competitors in your area. And it's $27, right? You're not selling them on the other thing, you're just selling them on the tripwire. So you go in here and you change out the video. The other thing you're going to need to do here is you're going to need to add a button in here for them to be able to click the button to go by. Now I'm going to save this and go show you where you click save. So when we come back to this, now I'm going to go back and show you where you'll connect it with your PayPal account. You'll go in here to m-commerce and click on this, and it will open up. You'll open up for your PayPal business account. And what you'll need to do is you'll need to go into PayPal, and it will give you the information here of how to find this. And they have the instructions. If you just go up here and click this question mark, it will go to profile link, more options, my selling tools, find the API access link, click on update, the API signature link, and copy and paste the settings in here. So this is not what you think normally would be your username and password and signature. There are actually 3 codes that you'll get from PayPal to put in here. Now you want the thank you page. We'll go ahead and set this. Normally we'll come back and do this in a minute, because we're going to have to create the thank you page, and we're going to have to create the upsell page as well. And we'll come back and fix those in just a minute so that they'll go to the right places. So let's just go ahead. I'm going to hit clear. Then we're going to go back to our pages, and we're going to go to our tripwire and go back to edit that. So what we want to do is you have to make sure we want the buy button to be right underneath the video. So we can't go over here. We can't just go add it, because if we do this and we add a widget which is custom. If we add a widget which is going to be the product, the m-commerce, then it's going to just stick it in anywhere on the page, and we'll have to move it around. We want it to be in this container. And so we'll come over here to this little crosshair, and it says add a widget into this container. So we click on that, and we come down here and we select the m-commerce. To configure this product, you must connect your PayPal account first in the dashboard. And what I just did is I went in and I cleared it a minute ago instead of just saving it or exiting. So now I got to go back and fix that. So now I've come back and actually put the information back in. I'm going to hit save. So it saves that. Now we're going to go back and edit that page and put the m-commerce in. It was a tripwire. Go back to edit. And this is just to show you these things happen, and it's no reason to get frustrated or get derailed. You just have to go back in and make it work. So go in. We're going to add a widget to this container again. We click here. We go down to the product m-commerce, and it's going to give us some options here. The payment type is buy. It's going to be a basic product, and we're going to say, let's say that this is going to be let's say it's going to be a video, and so we're going to make it, let's just say we make it $7. And can they select the quantity? No, we're not going to let them select the quantity. And what's going to be on here, and it will be business promotional video, right? And save.
And what that does is it puts add to cart right here underneath, puts add to cart right here underneath the video. And we go in, I don't like that color, so I want to change that. And what we need to do, let's go ahead and save this. And we're going to go all the way back out to the page out here, back to the dashboard. We're going to go back into this m-commerce, and down here it gives you the ability to change the text, and also gives you the ability to change the checkout button. And so in this case, what we want to do, where it says add to cart, I don't like that background color, so just like I did with the other one, I'm going to come in here, I'm going to go gradient, and I'm going to pick that yellow color, a little more yellow there, and then select, and then I come down to the bottom, go back to yellow, a little more orangey there we go, like that. And oops, it didn't do it. Let's go back and do that again. The bottom here, and go to the more orange, there we go. Select, save. Now let's go back to the pages, and we're going to go in here and we're going to edit the tripwire. And voila, the add to cart button looks a lot better to me. Now you can also you can highlight this, but I like it better looking like that with the add to cart. Fortunately, you can't really change the size of the button, so I don't really like that. I'd like to make it a little bigger, but it's okay. So we're going to come up here, we're actually going to come down, we're going to save it, and we're going to hit publish so that we can go look at it. And we click on here, and here's our sales page.
It's getting harder to get new customers. It's a fact that local businesses are seeing more and more competition for customers, clients, and...
All right, so now what you can do is you can go in here and change this to something that's about the offer that you're making to them. And you can add text up here if you wanted to. It said, thank you, your order is being processed. You can do that. The way you would do that is come in here, go to the top, you'd go to edit this, and you would put in the header text, and so it would say, thank you. The initial report has been sent. And we're going to come down here and hit save. Say thank you, your special report has been sent. Come down here again, hit save, and we'll go look at it. There we go.
It's getting harder to get new customers. It's a fact that local...
And so now you have a video sales page. And the reason we get rid of all the header and the stuff up here is we don't want them to get distracted. And so, there it says one item in cart. Go down here and click that, and it will take us over to the business promo video, quantity 1, and we would go to checkout. And voila, it takes us over to, you're logging into account for the seller of the purchase. So anyway, it takes you right over to make the purchase. So we won't have to go through all of that part, but just to show you that that's exactly how the whole thing works. Now, what I did before, the reason it said that was in the cart was because I had done this earlier. So if we go down here to the cart, let's go back over to the page. We'll go down to the one item in the cart, and if we want to, we can uncheck that and go back. And now if we add this to cart,
It's getting
there's
harder
one
to
item
get...
in the cart. Now it says $7, right? So that just goes to show you that it actually does put the information in where you see that. And so let me go back here.
It's getting harder to get new customers. It's a fact that local businesses...
And there you go. So that's setting up the tripwire. Now with the same, you're going to do the same thing. We're going to go back. We're going to... This is the landing page. Let me come back here. I actually do want to open that up a minute because we're going to go through the sequence here in just a second.
It's getting harder to get new customers.
Stop.
It's a fact.
That's the part that's annoying about autoplay video is you get to hear yourself over and over again. You get sick of your own voice sometimes. So we're going to make sure we have this saved. And now we're going to go back to the pages list. And now we're going to create the upsell. Then do the same thing. Upsell. You know, you don't want to name them this because you don't want people to, you would name this, so if we did video, you would do this, you would name it video ranking. I'm just doing this for us so that, you know, you can see what we're doing. Go to responsive, check the landing page again, create. Now, here's the other thing you can do to make it even simpler. I'm going to just go back out of here. I didn't save this. Let's go back to the pages list. This is something that's, I'm going to delete this. Yes.
This is how you can do this really quickly because you know that it's going to look exactly the same as the tripwire. So you can go boom and copy, and now we're going to call this upsell, and then call this upsell, and create. And what this does, it makes it so you don't have to go back and do all those steps where I deleted all the components. It just has the stuff in here. And now all you got to do is edit the pieces. You would go in here, change out the code for the video over here. You cancel this. And on this widget, you go in here and you would change this, and we'll go into the setting here. And this time we're going to change it to, if on the video, it was going to be what, 197 for the video ranking. And what it's going to show on PayPal, and this is going to be rank business promo video on Google. And we don't want to give them the quantity again. And we're going to hit save. It always defaults to that, so you kind of have to keep an eye on that. We got add to cart. We change the video. In here you can say something again about this. And we'll go down here and we'll hit save and publish. Now if we go look at this, and it's going to start. Now I've given you the tools for how to make your video sales letter, and the reason I didn't make them for you is I don't know what your tripwire offer is going to be, so you can kind of go through the video sales letter scripting process, and I've shown you exactly how to go through and record the video sales letter, and it's going to probably make it more effective with it being your voice anyway. If not, and so you will want to go through and record these videos. Then from there, like I said, it already shows one item in the cart, but let's say we want to add this. It's going to show 2 items in the cart down here. And now whenever you can also change this background so that it shows up more if you want to. Now when we go to the cart, business promo video, $7, rank business promo video on Google, and then they can go boom and check out. So that's how you set these things up so that you have your upsell, and let me see, hit the back arrow. So here's what's going to happen. They're going to come in, they're going to land here. They're going to opt in. They're going to put their name and their email in to get the free report. They may go ahead and schedule a strategy session, which if they do, that's great. You're ahead of the game. And so let's say they don't. They go in here, they put their name and email in, send me the free report, boom. All right, local funnel formula members. In this video, we're going to go through and look at editing the special report, the local marketing secrets report. And here again, you can change the title, you can change the subtitle from what I have on there. I'm going to go through and show you how to get your name on the cover. One of the ways you can do it is just go right in here and put it in there. But let's say that you wanted to have a copy of the image on the first page with your name on it. I'll show you how to do that as well. One of the things you could just do a screenshot, but if you want to have a fancy version of it, I'll show you how to go in and change that inside of Photoshop. So you want to go through here, fill in where the blanks are for your information here. This is just a regular Word document. It's actually not regular. It's in a format for like a newsletter. And so these are text boxes on each of the pages, and you can kind of see that how the formatting works. And you can put your your company name, presents, local marketing secrets if you want to put that in there, and go to the bottom. And if you want to do this again like I showed you earlier in the book, you can put in Atlanta, and it will show you all the places where I mentioned Atlanta. You can change it to your dentist if you're not your dentist, but your city, if you want to do that. So we go all the way through. It talks about keyword research, local directories, and we go all the way to the bottom. I think there's one place in here, yeah, it talks about Charleston, South Carolina, about female golfers if you want to change that part out. And Atlanta again. And I've put these sections on here at the bottom of some of the pages where you can change your website. If you scan through and where you see yellow highlighting, it means you need to change or add something. And we'll go all the way to the bottom. And here you can put in the takeaway, and you can write as much as you want in here to fill the rest of this up. I left this spacing a little wider than the normal spacing because I wanted it to sort of get their attention that it was bigger text. And you can, down at the very last page, you can put publish by and put your website and your email in there. So those are all of the things that you need to go in and edit on the PDF so that it's going to give you the best chance for conversion. Now let's look at how you can actually edit this cover and what you would do with it. So we'll go back over here. Actually, let me open this up. And where is the PDF here, or the PSD rather? And I want to open this, go Control, click, and open it with Photoshop. And
The way that you go in and edit this is you would go ahead and click the this box. So you can when you put it on this little crosshairs, you can go in here and change anything that you want to change. So let's say I wanted to call it the way this was before. As you can see over here on the right hand side, this was Mania before. So let's say I was going to change it back to Mania. You can do that. You want to make sure that it will, whatever it will fit in there. You can change the size of the font. You can do all those things. I want to put this back to Secrets. And let's say you want to put your name down here. Let's see if it has. Actually, I just had a logo down there. So you're going to have to need an added text box. We go over to text. Let me go flip back out of here. Text, and put a text box in here. And I'll put Jody Underhill. Right. And if I want to change this, I can go up here and change the fonts. Let's say that I wanted it to be chalkboard, and I can change it to look like that, just for kicks and grins. That's what I'm going to do, so you can see that it is changed. Now you can save this image, or you can go ahead and save it as a JPEG, because you need to have it as a JPEG to be able to load it into the mobile website builder. So let's go over here to go to File, Save for Web, and that will give you the choice to save it either as a JPEG, or you can just look over here, you can put PNG or a GIF. We're going to save JPEG, and we're going to, let's just make the size a little, actually we're going to leave it that size, and we're going to click OK, and I'm just going to change this to test so that I know what it is. And save. All right, so now we'll go back over here to our file and hit delete, and I'll get rid of these down here. And now you could, like I said, just change it right there with the text box that's actually already in there. Go back over here to my desktop, let it open up, and we'll take this and just stick it in there. So now all we got to do is just stretch it out to fit the page inside the squares. Easy peasy Japanesey. Boom, there you go. Now you have the special report page inside of the parameter with your name on it. Now let's say that you wanted to make a 3D cover so that you could have your name on the cover. And this is how hard that is. This is what I did here. Go over here and I'll put 3D book cover generator. Click on there, and there's several of them in here. This one I just happen to, it's easy to use. Go in here, and what I did with this, if there's no real side or there's no real spine to it, so you can just go here and upload what you have to all angles of it. Browse. If you want to get fancy and put a spine on it, you can, but the way the thing is actually listed and shows up on the site, it's actually better. It doesn't really need to have that. We create 3D book cover, and it's generating it, and voila, there we go. And you can take this and you can move it around whatever, whichever way that you want to with your mouse. And the way I had it before is I had it kind of like this, and you can then go down here, save it as a PNG, a JPEG, or a GIF. And if you can turn this around. You can actually make it look pretty cool and play with that all you want to, but let's just take it the way it was on the other one, and we're going to make it a JPEG. And you'll notice that they put their little logo up here. So now I'm going to show you how to go back, and also they put this white border around it. Take a screenshot of this. I can get rid of the logo that way and just go to here. Come back over to Photoshop Elements, File, we're going to open, and that was what, a screenshot. It just went to my desktop, so we'll just click here and open that up. And the way you get rid of this, the way you get rid of the white all the way around it, you can leave it there and put it into the page, and it doesn't look that bad, but you can still see the squares because it's a little bit transparent on the background. So you come into Image and go to Magic Extractor, and this tool is really cool. You have over here on the right hand side, you have the first one is the foreground and the next one is the background brush. So you click on this one, and this is where you want to capture everything that you want the thing to keep. And so we'll just kind of go along here. Actually, I'm going to undo that because I don't want any of the white. And I do want the white on the bottom though. And we'll just sort of, put these dots all over here and just kind of color it in. You don't have to be real critical with it, but so we'll do that. And then we'll come over here to the background, and we want to get rid of all of this white, but we don't want to touch the book. Here. Boom. And so then you hit preview, and voila, you got rid of all the white there. So go ahead and click OK, and there you go. You go over again, you go over here to File, Save for Web, and this time you want to save it as a PNG. PNG 8 is fine, and there you go. Now you have your 3D book cover that you can take and utilize to upload into your landing page. That's it. So hopefully with this you can customize the report, you can customize the book cover, and now you can also customize any other book cover that you have in the way that you want to do that. So that's it. Again, this is Jody Underhill, and we'll see you in the next video. All right, in this video we're going to go through and look at how to set up Calendly and how you can utilize the free service in order to get people to schedule for your strategy session. I showed you where the link was a while ago, but we're going to go through the whole process here. So we're going to go over here to a new page, and we're going to put in Calendly, and I happen to have it already in there. So Calendly comes up, and you'll just go ahead and put scheduling appointments, meetings, and you'll go over here and you'll go to sign in. Actually, I don't want to do that. So we come over here and you go to sign up for free, and it's going to give you your choices of the different accounts you have. And I'm going to just I'm going to select Go Mobile Solutions, and I would like to verify my email address. I'm going to say yeah, I'll accept it. And now my time zone, yes, I'm in the Eastern time zone, and the Calendly would be Jody 3 is what the name that you can change this to whatever you want it to be. So let's call it LFF Strategy. Hit confirm, and that's the link that we're going to go back and put in there. And you can watch the new user video, and it'll walk you through that one. Hit skip it. I'm going to come over, and here's the list of events. Now when you get this, you get a free 30-day trial, but with the free version, you only get to choose one of these. If you want to have the paid version, I think it's like $10 a month. But with the free version, I'm just going to pick the 30-minute meeting, and so I'll go ahead and select that. I'm going to edit it, because you want to go in here and change these things. So it's 30-minute meeting, add description instructions, and I will put Jody will call you at the number the time. All right. And then let's say 30, so we got strategy 30-minute. And I'm going to, the color, that's the color that's going to put on your calendar. Let's just leave it with purple. Then you're going to come down here and set your schedule. Let's say that I don't work on Mondays, and let's say on Tuesday I want to edit this, and I'm going to be from 9 a.m. and let's just say I want to go to 11 a.m. and then I can add another interval, and let's say I'm going to go from 12 p.m. and it says can't be negative. That's not because it's saying from 12 p.m. to 11 a.m. But we're going to go over here and change this to let's say 3:30 p.m. And you can go through and change each individual day if you want to. We're going to go here to put apply to, and we're going to check Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and we're not going to work on Friday and Saturday. So we're going to take this, and we're going to turn Friday off. How far in the future can events be scheduled? I only want people to be able to schedule about 7 days in advance. And you can also put the time in here, and then you have custom questions. And this is what I really like about this. So I click this button, I want to add a custom question. So the first question, I'm going to ask them for their name, add, and then I'm going to add another question. I'm going to ask them for their phone number. Right, it's on. You can make it optional, but I want it on. I want them, they have to fill it out. Phone number. And actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this. I'm going to put business phone. Save. And then I'm going to add another custom question and put cell phone. Add. Another custom question is, what is your website? And that's only give you 4 questions. So what I'm going to do is come back in here and I'm going to actually change one of these. So let's go back and change this. And I want to put how are you currently marketing your business? Cool. And save. So those are the questions. And you have custom links, email notifications. I'm going to come down here. You want your invitees to have a confirmation. You can personalize it, cancellation, and then they have advanced settings down here as well for you to allow invitees more than one spot. You can minimum scheduling notice 24 hours. You want to make sure that it's, and then you have buffer before and after the event. So I'm going to say I want a 10-minute buffer before and after each event. And then say display button to schedule another event. No, I don't want that. I don't want to give them the choice to do that twice. So now I have my 30-minute meeting, and I'm going to go back in here, and I'm going to get, turn it on. I'm going to turn 15-minute off, and I'm going to turn 60-minute off because I don't really have those right now. I'm going to go back to my dashboard, and my dashboard, whenever I click on 30-minute meeting, I can copy the URL. Now I'll go back over to the website, click on to edit the widget. And here's where the Calendly, the old link was, and I want to put my new link in. And you'll see at calendly.com LFF strategy 30 minutes. Open in a new window, click save, and come down to the bottom of this and click save. So now I'll go over to the page. I hit refresh to change that link. You see it changed the talk bubble down here. Click the strategy session, and it opens up Calendly. And you see that my start times, I only have start times available here on Wednesday and Thursday. I only have it for 7 days in the future, right? So I'm going to go in, let's say Thursday, I wanted to have a call at 9:30, confirm, and it fills in the questions for me. Name, business phone, how are you currently marketing your business, your website, schedule of event, boom. Whenever they do that, we'll give them confirmation, and it will send you an email that has all of that with it. So there you go. That's how Calendly works. And now you have your own customized scheduling system.